Struggling to get your business online? At Domains2U, we make it easy with fast domain registration, powerful web hosting, and top-tier security solutions. Our hosting solutions ensure speed, security, and reliability with 99.9% uptime and daily backups. Find the perfect domain name and get online in minutes. Get started today at domains2u.com.au.
Well, a very good evening to you, race fans. Welcome back. This is it. This is the one you have been waiting for. It's Monday night, which means it's time for another round of MC Motorsport action. And it is, of course, the final round of Season 2 of the Domains2U MCV8 series, proudly presented by MC Motorsport and, of course, sponsored by Domains2U.com.au and brought to you, as always, by Simple Racing Broadcast. My name is Jared Cole. It's my absolute pleasure to have with me in the booth once again Dean Biggles Hopton. We are here for what is set to be an absolute cracker of a final round as we make our way around one last time with the set of drivers that you have all come to know and love over the last 7 and a bit weeks. Biggles, great to have you back again, mate. I tell you what, it's looking like it should be a very interesting finish in some regards as we try and decide who our championship winners are going to be.
Exactly. Welcome, everybody. It would be fitting to go to Europe if it was going to be the final countdown. But, of course, we will have to do it in the Americas here at Heartlanta, as they say, at Road Atlanta. So it'll be interesting, as you mentioned. Of course, we'll go over those standings very soon, the championship standings. We know that probably that championship trophy is locked in, done and dusted. But there is still many battles to resume for the remainder of the race here this evening.
There absolutely are. Before we take a look at that, though, let's wrap up what tonight is going to look like. And the driver's in for a very, very slippery ride here at Road Atlanta. Air temp is 31 degrees. The track temp is 45. That's down about probably 6 or 7 degrees from what it was only half an hour ago. So it is coming down, but still a very, very hot track surface for this feature round. 2 races. Race 1, 18 laps. Race 2, 36 laps with that reversed top 10 grid. And of course, Road Atlanta, you can see in the background of shot there, one of the standout features here are, of course, the S's. They are brutally quick. And in a Gen 3 supercar, you've really got to just balance the aggression with keeping stable through this area. It's one bad line, you're off in the grass. It's a really, really challenging track at the best of times. And in these conditions, Biggles, with these cars, I actually don't know that we're going to get through cleanly tonight.
That's what I say. It's Heartlanta because it is hot, Atlanta, Georgia, and well, I mean, it's shaped like some say it's a snout of a trumpet. Some say it's like it's a rifle because you're in the old good US of A. Be packing, of course. And at the moment, it's packing some heat, as you mentioned. There, 45-degree temperature out there, so it'll be interesting. Of course, that's up in the hundreds in the Fahrenheit for all the Americans out there. But of course, this is an Aussie series, so we work in Celsius.
We absolutely do. Let's take a look at these championship standings. And look, we've called it a little while back, but really solidifying it. Brett Loxton it's almost impossible at this point to envisage any way that he doesn't end up taking the win here, unless he decides not to actually show up tonight. And I can tell you right now, he is out in qualifying as we speak. The battle, though, really will be for second and third. Will Buchanan and Thomas Hinz, only 7 points separating them, so keep a close eye on those two across tonight's proceedings. And Thomas Wilson a bit further back. Look, there's a chance here for Ryan Palmer to grab one more spot before this season is done. And then fairly well spaced out through most of the field. There's a couple of close battles in there as well, but we will wait and see what tonight brings us. And of course, we do have the AM Cup to decide tonight, and realistically, Ryan Palmer has just been too good all season as far as the AM Cup goes. Very, very consistent. Some great results have helped him along. Josh Harris was really running with him for a while there, but unfortunately just hasn't been able to keep up. Luke Speck will pretty comfortably take out third there, and I think you'll find all three of those drivers plus a couple more will find themselves in the pros next time the V8s run.
It'll be a little bit of bragging rights, of course, as you mentioned there. Ryan Palmer would lock up that AM deal, but if Josh Harris can end this season ahead of him, at least on the track, then that'll be the bragging rights going into the next one to say, okay, I'm bringing it. But of course, Brett's the man that pretty much have sealed the deal. But the rest of those drivers, once again, you want to dethrone the champion, don't you, on the final step of the final race of the race, to let them know that, hey, I'm coming, and let's bring it on for next season.
Yeah, absolutely. And on that note, let's go down to the track and check out some of the qualifying action that's going on right now. We'll catch the last 5 minutes before we get underway with racing. And speaking of champions, here he is, Brett Loxton. He's been leading from the start of this series pretty well all the way through as he just cements his number one spot there. Will Buchanan only 300th of a second behind in the qualifying standings at the moment, so he's absolutely out to take that second place if he can. Thomas Hinz right behind, actually steals away first, so Loxton's going to have to put in another lap there. We see the return tonight. Here's a face and a name we haven't seen quite as much of as we would have loved to over the course of the season.
DC.
David Coleman finds himself back for the final race, which just warms my heart, because it's always good to see DC back in amongst it.
Nothing fishy about the DC. Absolutely fantastic driver and getting in the mix there. Certainly very, very quick as well.
Maybe a little
speaking
out of touch,
back to yeah, he heard it too, didn't he? He's like, I'm going to show you how the fishes drive around Road Atlanta. But going back to that one, Brett Loxton, of course, the reason why, you'd have to say one of the reasons why he, in the 15 starts that he had all season here at the moment, his consistency with the podiums, of course, 10 podiums out of 15 starts. I mean, that's pretty much going to seal the deal on that one with the total of 1,714 points. Thomas Hinz has had a little bit more podiums than Will Buchanan at the end of the day, but just, of course, there's points that you get for race wins and stuff like that that make a little bit of those differences. All of those drivers, of course, 15 starts throughout the field, really, the top 9. Down to Josh Harris have all completed in 15 of those events. There's Ryan Palmer.
Speaking of the ADHD boys, did you see Ryan's face as he crossed the line there, just off track and just missing out on making that lap count? I reckon he was on for a very, very quick one there. I don't think I've seen that much emotion from that man at any point throughout the season while we've had the camera on him. As you see, just out in front of his teammates.
You can't see any space on helmet, can you?
Well, there is that.
Because when you put the camera on, you can see Ryan Palmer. What does he have time left to put a lap in?
Easy.
Might. Yeah.
He's got this.
Yep.
He's got this. I've got faith. Brett Loxton's out again, already setting a purple sector. Kyle Ridley, of course, out there again tonight, sitting in 10th currently. And a very big hello in the chat to, of course, our friends Tim Lawson and Mr. Nathan Allen from the RC room is here as well. Good to have you along, boys, as always. Brett Loxton absolutely flying. That's 2 purple sectors already, so he is out there just to show Will Buchanan who rightfully owns that number one spot. It's been so quick all season, and look, you think he's done. You think someone's taken away from him, and he just opens up the gears a little more. 3rd purple sector, absolutely keeping along. Have a look at this.
It's going to be 21 club. Maybe a 20. Well, it could be that ridiculous to be 21. It could be. 22.8 is the current time.
Here we go. Final turn. He's really dropped that last sector. Would you believe it? Oh no, there it is, a 22.36. So it wasn't even a purple in the final sector. So there's still more in it. That's ridiculously quick, as always, from Brett Loxton.
Especially in hot conditions as well, too, as you mentioned.
Yeah, but it's a half second.
Nathan Allen can be like, I'll get out there and I'll chuck a bit of lap time in. Yeah, he did actually during the practice sessions because he's in a different class of car, Nathan. So, but will we see Nathan out here tonight as well, too, will be a big question, of course, for our safety car driver. Whoa.
DC is pushing hard and really just struggling to find some form, it would seem.
That ain't going to buff out DC.
No, swap to the spare car. Get on into it.
The T car.
Why not? Minute and a half left to go in this qualifying session as we follow Robbie Bradbury around and down to the back half of the circuit. One of the very few tracks, although it seems to be a very American thing, that has no named corners.
Oh, yeah. It's numbers,
it's just numbers.
Yeah, well,
Just
I mean,
numbers.
think of the ovals, mate. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. Sometimes they started naming the straights now, of course, like the Alabama straights and things like that, but
They're slowly catching up.
yeah, they will. Well, once they get more legends of motorsports, I'd have to say, throughout the years, then they can start naming, like they do in the European and Australian tracks, and name them after the great racing legends.
Just keep an eye out for anyone else set to improve their times. It does look like we are pretty much seeing our qualifying order as Bradbury makes his way into the pits. Just a couple of drivers still out on track. Ryan Palmer finishing up there. Ian Ward in the balloon car is likely to be one of the last drivers to actually make it across the line. Thomas Wilson desperately trying to get this done before this is up. 15 seconds to go. If I'm not mistaken, this is going to cut him off. He's going to get there, but only just. He hasn't recorded a time yet. Let's see what he's got up the
a
sleeve.
good time. He's flying around the final corner.
Just gets in there and goes up to P10. So not a bad way to finish the session for him. Probably not as close as he would have liked to cut it, but you know, it's one of those things. One of those things. Here we go, folks. The grid for race number 1 here tonight looks as follows. Brett Loxton takes the pole alongside Will Buchanan. Then Thomas Hinz in third. David Coleman, despite the few issues that he had along the way, will be pushing from row 2. Aaron Gilbert and Dean Powell on row 3. Then James Salhani and Jared Burns ahead of Henry King. And Thomas Wilson sneaks into the top 10 with that last-ditch effort just a couple of seconds before the session ended. Robbie Bradbury and Josh Harris behind them, then Kyle Ridley and Chris Lashbrook ahead of Jackson Starrett and Ryan Palmer. Luke Speck and Ian Ward ahead of Martin Lipsky, and Nathan Allen is showing as number 20 tonight. We've got a bunch of drivers in the race control crew all in there at the moment. I noticed that Hayden Cupid is in the session, but I don't know that he's actually racing tonight. But we've got Nathan Allen, Pete Manette, and of course a race control team all ready to go this evening. So we'll see how they all line up. It will be a very, very interesting start, I'm sure. This is one of those rather unique starting lines here at Road Atlanta, where most of the drivers find themselves starting up and around the corner, Biggles, and it can be really tough to get a good start. On the upside, though, maybe a bit of a downhill run to get you underway.
Kind of reminds you a little bit of Spa and some of those other tracks too, where you just basically Monaco, of course, but thankfully we don't go to that glorified golf cart track in the virtual world of racing. But yeah, and Bathurst as well too. Remember, that's another one a little further down, but you'll be starting all the way around the corner as we get ready to rumble in Heartlanta, my friend. How much moonshine of bottles have they got stacked in the trunk of these cars, or boot, as we'd like to call them in Australia?
I'm going to assume that none of our drivers would ever do anything of the sort. So that's what I'm sticking with.
Wouldn't be motor racing about moonshine in the back of the car and a couple of police chasing you down, mate.
Yeah, not wrong. Hayden Cooper just checking into the chat. Unfortunately, the lack of attendance this season means that he's not eligible to participate in the final race. But at the very least, you're here to keep us company. Good to have you along this evening. G'day, Damo. Yeah, look, it is a little lighter on the AM numbers, and it's hard to blame them. I mean, if I was in that AM comp with the way that the ADHD boys have absolutely dominated it, I don't know that there's a lot of inspiration to show up tonight, but maybe that's just me. I know when I'm beaten. Some of these guys wouldn't stop regardless, knowing the way they run. We're just about to get underway. We're waiting on the last of the cars. Thomas Wilson jumps onto the grid as one of the very last to join, and we're about to be in the starters' hands as we get ready to go racing for 18 laps here of Road Atlanta. The lights come up. Loxton and Buchanan on the line. They'll lead us away. The final round of MCV8s is underway. Loxton and Buchanan off the line. Thomas Hinz and David Coleman right behind them. A couple of moves already further back in the pack as we come on down towards turn one. Everyone jockeying for position. It's a nice wide entry to this turn, but not a lot of space out the other side as they come up the hill for the first time. And you can see already these drivers starting to just settle on in because it gets very, very narrow very quickly here as we get into turn three. Side by side, we've got a few cars with only a credit card between them in the background, and we come down into the S's. Contact there, Ridley into the side of Josh Harris. Looks like they've managed to get it more or less sorted out. We come down through the S's and then head on down towards turn six. Brett Loxton out in front and quite comfortably at this stage, and the front five already starting to establish their pace.
Yeah, pretty even Stevens across the field there. No major dilemmas. Couple of positions gained and lost. Actually won for most of the drivers. But a good close battle, of course, a little bit up the front there. Midfield battle as well, too. James got himself up to the P6 there, just ahead of Dean Power there. Jared Burns, Thomas Wilson, Henry King, all team shifting their way up. The Team Jing shifters onto the Black Hawk Motorsports entries. But Brett Loxton still in the lead.
Turn 10A, 10B for the first time. Can we get through cleanly? Always the question. Looks pretty good, actually. Not gonna lie. I was expecting perhaps a little bit more.
Yeah, Nathan Allen's going, damn it. I wanted to get it out there. And
look, plenty of laps still to go before we call this a safety car free race. Salhani and Power battling it out for sixth, kind of the head of the, let's call it the second pack. As you see, Loxton, Buchanan, Hinz, Coleman and Gilbert all starting to pull away a couple of seconds already after that first lap. Is there really that much difference in pace tonight between these drivers?
Seems so. Looks like Brett was checking out, but he's just backed off a little bit before he's about to come around and complete another lap here this evening. So he is the quickest. Boy Buchanan's got Thomas Hines and DC on his tailpipe. Gilbert not too far, a little bit further down the road from that one. Then a 2-second gap down to Sahani there in P6. That's the current top five drivers.
Yeah, Ian Ward's got that yellow flag up.
Yep, there it is.
Now
That's
remind me, this is newly added to our broadcast software. If I'm not mistaken, that is a slowdown flag, isn't it?
Slowdown, sir. Yes, it is. Just recently introduced. So keep an eye on Thomas Butt. Maybe thinking about setting up the inside there, Will, but no, elected not to tuck in behind there. Still early days. Of course, it is our first heat sprint race. Yeah, that slowdown, depending on where you get it, sometimes it'll make a huge difference, as you know, but sometimes it's not too bad.
And with that jumping to a black flag now, I wonder if Ian's not actually cleared that in time.
That's probably true.
Let's see if he heads on pits here. That'll tell us for sure if he's serving a bit of a drive-through.
MC Motorsports, obviously at Simple Racing Broadcast, bringing you the detailed information.
Oh, we're trying, aren't we? We're trying.
Yes, sir.
Here we go, down into the S's again. Thomas Hinz firmly planted in the middle. He'll be wanting to get ahead of Will Buchanan here because he needs those extra points to claw his way back into second position. He's going to need to finish ahead of Buchanan by a couple of spots in both races tonight if he wants to make this a Team Jinx 1-2 finish to the season. So the pressure is on. Only lap 3 of 18. So he's got some time, but he doesn't want to lose touch at this point. David Coleman right there with him. And of course, Aaron Gilbert hanging off the back. James Salhani and Dean Power leading this pack. Not really getting threatened or challenged at the moment from the cars behind. But still plenty of...
Jackson Starrett's gone off track somewhere too, my friend. Ooh, just an off-track excursion somewhere. Yeah, 555. Not too bad, not too bad. There's a place or two.
Dean Power
still pointing the right direction.
Jams it down the inside into 10A. Finds himself on the outside for 10B, and Salhani regathers, but that is a warning shot to James Salhani as he's got two Black Hawk Motorsport cars now behind him in Power and Burns. Thomas Wilson sitting it back in ninth, is up one spot from where he started as well after taking Henry
He might
King.
have one in front of him in a second. Oh, around the outside of the inside, their contact, maybe a little bit of trading paints and door banging. And that looks like
doesn't want to
James
hang around,
Mann.
does he?
No. Oh, well, the Blackhawks, my friend, they're silently, propellers are swinging in the background there. They want to swing their way, of course, past the 188 machine, getting a good exit speed as well, too, Dean is. It's going to be definitely looking for mounting a... Well, we're going to throw the cards down, my friend, at the poker table. I would be looking at doing a sharp right-hand turn coming up soon. If not, you got another one behind it.
Dean Power's all over the back of Selhani here, and just
Down the main straight for
waiting
sure,
for it.
right?
Oh yeah, into 10,
yeah.
you've got to do it. Has to do it here. The real question will be what happens with Wilson and King behind, because they're actually right there with Jared Burns. Power's actually got a slower exit than he probably needed, and this is going to be really tough. He's got a real Selhani in 3/10. It's not going to be close enough by the time he gets to the chicane. He's going to take the big dive early though.
But Thomas Wilson will on Jared Burns.
Yeah, he's not hanging around
And
for the
that's
teammates
job
to figure
done.
it out, is he?
Oh, yeah.
Close to
He
contact
gets the
there.
exit.
Just squeezes in front of Burns. Brett Loxton now has extended to a 2-second gap out in front. These guys, meanwhile, this pack we've been watching, are 5 seconds back from Hins, Coleman, Gilbert, and Buchanan leading that little mini battle.
Oh, he goes to the outside. They'll switch around, perhaps.
Ian
Exit on
Ward
the pit
coming
road
out
as well,
from
too.
the stop and hold. I
Thankfully
imagine.
off the racing line. Yeah, that
50,
is Ian Ward.
50 seconds in the pit box, so a 50-second stop and hold sounds about right. I wonder what's happened there. Whether he just didn't realise he had the slowdown to serve, or just didn't quite get there in time. Because of course, iRacing doesn't care if you make it by if you've got a second left or 20 seconds left on that slowdown. You get penalised the same way if you don't clear it.
That's
As I
true.
understand things.
Well, he forgot to sell the moonshine, didn't he, before he went racing? And so they penalised him for carrying too many bottles in the trunk. Congratulations, of course, to the livery designers. Really impressive designs. Thank you very much there, Tim. There is some absolutely amazing liveries. You get to see them, luckily, here for the final time this season.
Yeah, they always are, and certainly fewer brighter than the twin ADHD entries here of Harrison Palmer. The primary sponsor for this season, Domains2U.com.au, all over the pink, white, and blue.
We might have to switch up to Thomas making a run on Will. Actually, he is. Sorry about that there for the lovely deliveries, but we have to get obviously where it's at, and Henry James Racing entry does get the jump there. So Will Buchanan down into P3 currently, but he needs all the points he possibly can, isn't it? Because he's not sealed the deal here on these championship standings.
If Buchanan can hang in there and finish immediately behind Hins in both of these races, Buchanan should be able to hang on to second position in the championship at the end of the night. We'll have to wait and see, and of course, fastest laps come into that. Although I dare say Brett Loxton's got those wrapped up tonight based on the fact that he's already 4 seconds ahead of these chasing cars. It's just the speed of Brett Loxton this entire season has been utterly phenomenal.
Yeah, we got to check a couple of moonshine bottles back in his trunk of his car to even Stevens up the rest of the field. But hats off to him, he's done a good job.
Admin, come on. Surely he's earned
I think Will's going to be more concerned about DC as well, too, behind him, if anything. He's probably like, hey, Thomas, you can go through. I'm still going to be calculating in the back of my head here the points situation, but can't afford to let too many other drivers through. It's a heat race, of course, feature race coming up, but you got the reverse grid. How are you going to be panning out those positions later on as well when we get down to the last 12 minutes remaining in this one?
Yeah, it's a bit of a guessing game at the moment. I mean, I'm just watching Hins Buchanan in our telemetry here and keeping a very close eye on the times, because Hins was pushing really, really hard there. Now, that's going to be really challenging with these sort of temperatures as those tyres start to just give out over the coming laps. They're really going to get into that rut that we know these supercars are famous for. And he's got to be really, really careful that he doesn't absolutely cook them. Because Will Buchanan, if he's looking after his tyres just a little better, he's going to have a great opportunity to try and pass Hins again. And I dare say that Thomas Hint's going to need a much better result than just one spot ahead of Will Buchanan if he wants to really have a crack at clawing back P2.
It's the battle for the best, again. Isn't it? Yeah, because Brett's going to be, it looks like untouchable at the moment in Road Atlanta. It's going to be the best of the rest. And 44-degree track temperature currently at the moment, so just kind of reminding us all here in Australia that winter's probably going to be very over soon, and we're going to be looking at those temperatures as we approach summer in Australia. And just so everybody's like, it's cold in Australia, a little bit past around Australia at the moment, but it's going to get bloody hot soon, just like it's heating up in this race.
Thomas Wilson really dragging all of Dean Power's attention at the moment to behind him. James Salhani's getting a bit of a free run at this point. Wilson's looking for a way through. You can see him just exploring both sides of the track there, looking to see if there's a line that he can find that's going to give him the edge. This is not an easy place to get a pass done. It is, however, where you can really set up for the pass into turn 6, turn 7 at the bottom of this short run. And if you're close enough behind, it gives you a great opportunity to try and outbrake the car in front. Not this time around for Wilson, but he remains very much in touch. Keep your eye on Henry King behind.
Or just NASCAR style and Durham. Don't do that. Ryan Palmer made his way up 4 positions currently, moment P12, so his battle with Josh Harris is the key that he wants, even though it's for that deal of security, wants that bragging rights. But of course, Thomas Wilson, we're seeing a little bit of the livery there of, looks like DC, jumping in and out on that one. But trust me, he's on track currently at the moment.
There we go, Thomas Wilson's gone through on the way out of turns 10AB. Managed to make the move there. That's been a little while coming. Wilson's been holding pressure on Power. He's now going to try and chase down Salhani. Let's go back and take a look at this one. And just a big lock-up from Dean Power gives Thomas Wilson all he needs to jump straight on through. The iRacing Designs replay doing its thing once again as Thomas Wilson heads down into the S's, chasing James Salhani ahead.
You wrapped that replay quite well, didn't you?
Oh, look, someone's got to. And when the IRAP crew isn't around, I guess I've got to step in. Yeah. It's been awesome. Like the support this season from all of our sponsors has been absolutely fantastic. It's what makes this league happen every season. So to all of the sponsors who maybe are out racing or maybe are watching at home, obviously Domains2U, Maximum Effort Racing, Everything Simulated, Sixpence Coffee Roasters, and of course iRacing Designs. Appreciate you guys. It's always delightful to have you along for it. Thomas Wilson, I'll tell you what, he's found the pace that Dean Power couldn't before. Power maybe just starting to struggle on these tyres a bit.
Because Henry King's coming in there, so I'll to the King. Dean Power's will be like, we got no King in Australia. Well, actually we do. But unfortunately, but like,
we do now.
We're going to send you back to England.
Not anymore, can we?
Yeah. Dean's like, go back to England. This is Australia, mate. Whoa, on the exit as well, too. Dean Power putting the power down, trying to hold off Henry King here for the Team Jinx Shifters. Great battle, of course, and up the road there you got James Sarni and Thomas Wilson also. So the mid-pack here is where, as the Americans like to say, you chuck a blanket over them.
We go on board with Henry King. Keep your eye on just the amount of correction that he's having to do with the wheel here as this car slides around, particularly on corner exit. You'll see a little bit of oversteer correction, but in front, Dean Power, a big moment, very sideways on the way out of there. And that says to me that he's probably pushed those rear tyres just a little too hard, a little too early. Lap 10 of 18. It's only just over halfway, and he's really struggling to get the power down already. Henry King just needs to hang in there, bide his time, and the opportunity will absolutely come to him.
Yeah, obviously petting that there's no incident up the road as well too, but you got to be in it to win it. You got to be bumper to bumper here. It's V8 supercars. Thomas now, what's he going to do up the road as well too? He's thinking about it. He's going to have to set it up the inside. He's going to hope to have to stick. Remember, you compromise the exit as well too. So they will go side by side. Everybody's going to have to lift off. Dean's going to have to lift off. Henry King's going to have to lift off behind him. But they still have to somehow just gingerly apply the throttle because you don't want to lift off too much. You want to seize an opportunity and see two cars go flying by. Fantastic racing. Battle at the moment on your hands, on your pitches for P6.
Yeah, these guys have just been swapping around over and over. I expect Thomas Wilson to start to pull away here, but getting caught up in that battle has dropped Salhani's pace right back, and Dean Powers on his tail once again, with Henry King not too far behind. So I don't think this one's over just yet. Salhani's going to need to get back in the rhythm after getting it just unceremoniously dispatched there by Thomas Wilson. Wilson up and over your GoPro for one of the last times this season, Beagles. Told you you'd have it back at the end, all intact.
Yep, you're right. Thank you very much for that. But
we still got to get there.
Ryan Palmer, unfortunately, we won't take our eyes off this, but Ryan Palmer has had a little bit of a moment off track too. So unfortunately for him, but at the moment, we're going to keep our eyes peeled on this one, because this, you know what's going to happen. You switch that camera away, you're going to have to look at a replay later on. Side by side, Dean and Henry.
Henry King's got the run on here, putting a little bit of dirty air up and over that rear spoiler to try and slow Power down. King's got the inside run as they come down towards the chicanes. They're both on the brakes hard and late. Can King get it pulled up? It gets squeezed to the inside of the track. Dean Power in turn all over the ripple strip there, and King can't quite get it done this time around, and that's costing them both pace to Salhani out in front, who was under pressure and now breathes a bit of a sigh of relief.
Henry got a good exit as well too, so he may be able to just ease the throttle into the corner here. Dean's allowing a little bit of space. He's like, okay, come on, let's go here, kitty. Let's go. And of course, it'll convert into a single formation of a racing line through here. For sure, when we go side by side, you're going to compromise way too much exit speed. Fantastic battling still occurring. They will line astern here, follow the racing line, just way you can't go side by side through here at the moment. Oh, a little wide at the moment there from Dean Power. Exit speed from Henry King. Bingo, slingshot this one around here, side by side. Looking forward to this one. Tight right-hand corners coming up right now. Two of them before we start another lap.
Dean Power's doing everything right to hold Henry King where he is at the moment, but it is costing them both pace. Burns and Bradbury starting to close in behind. King has a good run out of that turn again, starts to bring it on back. They're going to be side by side. This time King on the outside of turns 10
left. That's going to be the key, isn't it?
He's got further ahead here now. Can Dean Power, now Power's on the brakes a little earlier. There's the lockup. He's popped the motor.
Oh!
He's popped the motor on the downshift. Dean Power will be stranded. He's not going anywhere. King gets taken out. He'll have to get rolling again, but Dean Power has done the motor on the downshift. We've seen it happen so many times this season, and Dean Power is the latest victim.
Yeah, pop goes, they say pop goes Weasel, pop goes the V8 engine.
Contact.
He looks around.
Up and over them.
Yeah. Bit of commotion at the moment. We'll keep an eye on everything. Dean's still parked at the moment out there in the kitty litter. There could be a call for a safety car.
There is indeed a safety car.
There it is. It had to be. Too many dangerous, too many incidents on one lap, too many beans, as they say, in the basket.
I think that's what's happened to Luke Speck there.
Pit stops, Jackson Starrett's in, Luke Speck's in.
Yeah, I think that's probably what's happened there, is that they've gone diving for the pit note. I think that might have been how Specs come off track. I didn't quite see it happen. I think there might have been a little contact, perhaps, but we'll take a look. Nathan Allen out on track in the race control safety car. So
he'll be out there trying to re-rack him.
Brett Loxton's gap's going to come all the way back now.
I was just about to say that, isn't it? Great minds think alike. I mean, Brett's going to be like, all right, okay, here we go. I had a commanding lead here. We'll drop that down at the moment, 4 second or so lead. Well, now, I mean, Brett's used to this, so he's like, I've done this before. I can handle another restart. In fact, it's even more great experience, isn't it, for his 5K rating to do another race restart lead, as he's just managed to catch at the moment Nathan Allen in the Porsche.
Let's go back and take a look at just what happened to Luke Speck for a moment. Comes up and over the hill, and I think, look, couldn't decide where he's going there, on the brakes a bit, trying not to jam into Chris Lashbrook as he wanted to head to the pits. But
the pit lane entrance,
that's the pit lane entry.
Oh,
so
stuck.
I think just a bit of a moment of indecision. Didn't establish himself clearly enough on the right hand side, so Lashbrook's taken it as an invitation to go up the inside as he comes up and over the hill. But unfortunately, Yeah, not the way to do it. Meanwhile, if we go back to Dean Powell.
Yeah, we got a few replays. That's the one grand thing about a caution, is that we get a chance to look at what happened during this race so far.
Have a look and listen to this downshift. That's it. Down into fourth.
Bang!
Down into fourth at 250 plus, and that will be the end for your motor every time.
Yeah, my mechanic's not going to be happy with that. He's going to be like, "Did you blow it up again, Dean?"
Look at that puff of smoke, and it locks the rears instantly. Compression lock. Dean completely out of control there. Nothing he could do to avoid Henry King.
And it's no fault. Henry
much.
King's got to be sitting there going, "Why did you hit me?" I mean, obviously, if Henry King was to look at that replay, he'd be like, "Well, you blew your engine, mate. There's nothing you can do." Compression kicks in. It's basically like putting a handbrake on a highway at 200 kilometers an hour. Don't suggest to do that at home. That's what happens. And
generally,
V8.
Generally not a good way to go about it.
Yeah. Locks up the differential, doesn't it? And there's just no way to go.
Yeah, well, you saw that there with Dean Powell. The minute he popped that motor, the rear wheels just lock immediately. The entire drivetrain just absolutely seized up there.
It's impressive how iRacing does mimic that, actually, because, that does happen in real life. It will do that. The engine seizes, thus you get no drive control. Thus the car turns basically into a mobile handbrake at that point, and all the drivers can do is steer. You can see them fighting the steering wheel, trying to avoid the incident, but the car wants to go one direction. We're on green flag conditions. Let's go racing again.
3-lap sprint now. Can anyone reel Brett Loxton in? That's the question. It seems like David Coleman's going to give it a shot. He's got Buchanan and Wilson right behind him, but immediately the two team jinx entries of Loxton and Hinds start to pull away, and this is music to Hinds' ears, because you can see Coleman now ahead of Buchanan, so that's going to cause just a slightly higher differential in the points, which could be all it takes tonight. Just keep an eye on it.
Oh, Martin Lipsky goes around somewhere at the moment, but keep your eyes peeled on the front runners at the moment. With Buchanan, you mentioned, he doesn't want to see Thomas. Thomas is what he's thinking about here in the championship. Brett Loxton's up the road there. That's probably signed, sealed, and delivered on that championship that we suspected. But the rest of that battle for P2 is very important for these drivers. How much fighting's going to go on? Remember, it's a heat race. We're dying 4 laps to go, and a feature race coming up. They got to be thinking about here. If you drop it and you lose a ton of points, that's a lot to make up in the next race.
Yeah, it absolutely is, and it's not going to take a huge amount of difference between the two drivers to change the order for this championship. What did we say earlier? 7 points the difference between
I believe so.
Between Buchanan and Hinds. So there's not much in it, and in case you're wondering, just what that actually translates to, folks. For this race, those top few positions are all separated. In fact, so this race, the top few positions are all separated by 3 points in terms of what they're able to earn. In race number 2, those top positions separated by 6 points. So
it's a lot. Yeah, it's half at this point in this race if you've been in, right?
It is. But Thomas Hinds, where he's sitting right now, if this is our finishing order in just a couple of laps' time, then Hinds picks up, 6 of the 7 points he needs to overtake Buchanan for P2 in the championship. And we're down to 1 point difference for the feature race. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty keen to see that.
Oh, yeah. And not to mention, of course, we're talking about, second and third of the championship is millions of dollars in racing contracts.
Millions of iRacing
if they're Formula 1 cars.
Yeah, exactly.
If I think iRacing should giving out thousands of credits in situations like this, shouldn't they?
Is that so much to ask? Come on, iRacing.
Get behind this. Start sponsoring. All right.
Tim, thank you so much. I know it's been sitting there for a little while, but thank you so much for the shout out, mate. It's always a pleasure to bring all this racing to everyone at home. And hey, if you've been watching and just, hanging around in the background thinking, hey, this looks like a bit of fun, Simple is actually looking for more producers, more broadcast commentators at the moment. So if it's something you're interested in, drop us a line, something in the comments, or shoot us an email. Our email address, of course, on the YouTube channel, so you can track us down pretty easily. Give us a shout. Come along. Join the fun.
Yeah, Jared's a lot of fun to work with. Trust me, and I work with a lot of people around the world. And
Thank you, mate.
And Jared says, hey, you want to come and join me? I'm like, any day of the week. Absolutely. Oh, a little bit of a slide from DC as well. I know we're looking a little bit further back as well, but that is the situation. We can't have we can't be in two places at once, but...
Tell you what, I'm not going to lie. I am, as these broadcasts go on, and I look for ways that we can improve what we're showing here, Biggles, I am more and more tempted to get a second iRacing account and have two PCs running coverage of the race and just get a bit of picture-in-picture on. It's probably a little excessive and also a little hard for just little old me to control, but...
A lot more work for you, my friend, if you do that. Yeah, exactly. But, yeah. Especially in this fantastic MC Motorsport racing series as well, too, as we're on the penultimate lap.
Yeah, final lap, and Brett Loxton out in front by 2 seconds in the space of 2 laps. It just... What do you even say at this point? Honestly. It's next level. This is the battle for third right now. David Coleman, really well positioned, but he is absolutely fighting to stay ahead of Buchanan and Wilson here. Gilbert's tagging along, and I reckon is hoping just quietly for a bit of a three-way incident to let him get past all three in one move. I reckon that's the
it's like stealing a dance partner away from a pretty lady at a barn dance, isn't it? It's like, well, come in there and muscle my way and say, all right, I'm going to take her away. This is very important, isn't it, from Webber Cannon here? You can't afford to get in a tangle. Not knowing that Thomas is going to be securing this P2 this late into the race, in fact, right now, almost. So if I was Will, I would have to settle currently at the moment in P4, 2 positions down on where he qualified, and that'll be it. So just say it is and just bring it all to the feature race.
Yeah, I mean, really that one extra position now, while it'll be handy for him, it's not going to be the decision-making point. It's just not. So we go to the start-finish line, the checkered flag out, Brett Loxton crosses the line, Thomas Hins behind him, and then David Coleman comes home in third with Buchanan, Wilson and Gilbert in hot pursuit. Salhani comes through in seventh ahead of Burns and Bradbury. Henry King just holds off Josh Harris. This is such a fast exit. Have a look at the way these cars are sliding as they come down. It's such a fun track to drive. I really do enjoy every time I'm here. Ridley, a massive slide to finish the race there. Yeah, I'd love to see it, honestly. Have a look at it. Luke Speck gets it absolutely lit up out of that final corner. Will cop himself an incident point for the off track, but I don't think that'll bother him too much, honestly, as we wait for the last couple of drivers to finish off their final laps.
And Josh Harris got the bragging right over Ryan Palmer as well too in the AM. Remember, it's still already decided championship, but he still wants to, as I said, all you can do, isn't it, if you're going to finish the silver, is just try to alert the obviously the driver that beat you coming into the next season to say, I'm going to bring it, my friend. I'm bringing my A game. I was just testing it. I was basically the dress rehearsal.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. Hey, speaking of next season, MCV8s obviously finishing up after race 2 tonight, and then of course we go into our next GT3 series. And folks, the running order of that has been decided. Let's have a quick chat about this, because the French Car Care GT3 series kicks off on September 22nd at Interlagos. And this lineup of tracks, very, very interesting one for the GT3s in the coming season.
Oh, my favourite, Interlagos.
Interlagos to start. Oschersleben is... I tell you what, turn 1 there is going to be really interesting for the GT3s. The Bend, of course, makes the cut. Misano, Hungaroring, Barber Motorsports Park. Then we go to Zandvoort, Silverstone, Mount Panorama gets a nod, and we finish at Suzuka on November 24th. It is it's a very, very nice series ahead of us. If you want to get involved with it, of course, still time to get your entries in. Jump on over to the Discord. The invite is down below. Let's take a look at the results from heat number 1 here in the final round of the MCV8 series for season 2. Brett Loxton takes the win. Thomas Hins comes home with 97 points in second. Then David Coleman and Will Buchanan ahead of Thomas Wilson and Aaron Gilbert. James Salhani and Jared Burns. Then Robbie Bradbury and Henry King with absolutely spot on Tim Lawson seeing the writing on the wall for Josh Harris just missing out by, what is that? 0.14 of a second. He was behind Henry King, and he would have been going to the front with the reverse top 10.
Side by side with Josh, with Ryan Palmer. So
well, yeah, there is that. The ADHD boys on row 6 together for race number 2. But yeah, that will have a bit of an impact, of course, on the championship, and we'll take a quick look at that now if I can get it put together quickly enough. G'day, Curry family. Yeah,
calculating.
We've got
Mitch
Meg and Mitch
Meg.
checking in and watching the last round of this. Mitch, I'm a little surprised that you didn't jump in for one last drive of this car as you love so much.
Exactly. It wouldn't be MC Motorsport without the MC Mitch Curry.
But no, I get it. He's hanging out for GT3s. That is for sure. This is.
He could jump in a safety car.
Good.
Go ahead.
True. This is how it's looking after race number 1 here tonight. There is, we've done the maths right. Will Buchanan holds his lead over Thomas Hinds by 1 point as we go into the final race. So it basically comes down to this: if Buchanan beats Hinds in the final race, or Hinds beats Buchanan, rather, then that order will swap. Buchanan has everything to do here to hold on to P2 in the overall championship. Loxton's absolutely got this locked away.
And a tie?
Look, I mean, a tie is... It's not impossible.
Podiums.
It's not impossible because the points are not all 6 points apart. The reduction in difference kind of changes as you go down through the points. So it's not impossible for them to tie, but it's pretty unlikely at this point. It's also not technically impossible for Brett Loxton to not finish in first, because there's 200 points on offer here in race number 2. He'd have to finish dead last, I would imagine. I mean, what's the gap at the moment? We'd call it just under 100 points. What is that about? Let's call it, just for my poor old brain, let's call it 90 points the difference, right? It is possible to come back from that. What it would mean, and I'm just going to take a quick look at the points here, is that with 20 drivers on the grid, you know what? No, it's not possible. It's not possible.
No, I
20
didn't think
20 drivers on the grid. The lowest number of points on offer here is 112 points in race number 2, which means even if Loxton is dead last and Buchanan takes P1, it'll get closer, but not quite enough. There's only
and Loxton can finish 5, 6, 7 laps down. Just drive around it like at my pace. You know, about 30 seconds lap slower than everybody else. Still be able to win the championship.
And an important point though, as long as he actually does cross and see the checkered flag. Because if you don't see the checkered flag here in MC, you don't get any points at all.
Okay, so just get out of the way, like I said, like just move out of the way, let everybody lap you 100 million times, and then
just do that final lap.
Finish the race.
Just a nice slow lap of honour for Brett Loxton.
He's not going to do that, but
no,
I guarantee you he's
don't
not
see
going
that
to do
happening.
that.
Look, all good fun, folks. We've got just a quick minute before we start to grid up, so we'll go to a final time, an ad from our major sponsor, Domains2U. We'll be right back.
Struggling to get your business online? At Domains2U, we make it easy with fast domain registration, powerful web hosting, and top-tier security solutions. Our hosting solutions ensure speed, security, and reliability with 99.9% uptime and daily backups. Find the perfect domain name and get online in minutes. Get started today at domains2u.com.au.
Welcome back, folks. We are moments away from starting to grid up for race number 2. So I hope you've gone and gotten your refill of your drink of choice. I hope that you've gotten the dinner sorted there, Mitch, so that you can come and sit down and keep an eye on this one. Our warm-up between races is just finishing. I think this might be the first time that I can recall that we haven't seen any drivers out on track during the warm-up session. Everyone
Nobody practice restart or a start or anything, which is surprising, but hey.
Very unusual.
It may be exhausted. There's your starting grid.
Maybe, yeah. Here we go, the grid for race number 2. 36 laps here this time around. Henry King and Robbie Bradbury will take the front row ahead of Jared Burns and James Salhani, then Aaron Gilbert and Thomas Wilson. Will Buchanan and David Coleman. Buchanan starting directly ahead of Thomas Hins and Brett Loxton, rounding out that top 10. The rest of the grid, Harrison Palmer on row 6, Starrett and Lashbrook row 7, Kyle Ridley and Luke Speck ahead of Martin Lipsky and Ian Ward, and then Dean Power, the last driver on track. Nathan Allen records just the tiniest bit of timing in there for his safety
He's
car
in the
lap.
chat. Yeah,
He's just hanging out in the chat at the moment.
Just keep an eye on things.
Dear, oh dear. G'day, Enthusiast Project. Any races on after this? As in tonight? No, this will be the last of the racing that we cover here tonight. But tomorrow night we'll be back. There'll be another set of V8 racing as we get into round 9 of the Alliance Sim Racing V8 Supercar Series. And of course, later in the week, Thursday night, the Formula Drivers League returns to our screens as we go for another round with the F4 Championship there. So plenty of racing this week as always. We were talking a little earlier, in case you did miss it, about the upcoming French Car Care GT3 series here with MC Motorsport. That kicks off September 22nd, so we've got about a month or so of time off, which I'm going to use to get a bunch of stuff done in terms of, you know, broadcast B-rolls and all that kind of thing. I always appreciate a little bit of time to try and get the coverage improved for you if I can, folks. And got plenty of tracks to try and get all of that B-roll organised for next season.
It's not simple, but it makes it simple somehow. I don't know how you do it, my friend, but you do it
black
very
magic,
well.
honestly. Let's go down to the grid as our drivers are getting lined up here for race number 2. It's a really good question. What have you done, Nathan? Maid outfit on Mitch? Yeah, look, I got nothing. I got nothing.
He knows nothing. As well, we do know is Henry King will be on pole. So
He will, which is a great opportunity for him. And look, we've spent a lot of time talking about the top 3 in this championship and how that's likely to finish up here tonight. We haven't really spent a lot of time looking at some of the battles that are going on further back through the field. And you saw we took a brief look at the championship standings. You did see a few green and red arrows in there with people moving up and down in the championship standings. So there's still battles on as we get towards the start of this feature race. 36 laps about to kick off. We've got all of the drivers on the grid just waiting for the green flag at the back of the pack from our start officials. And it looks like we're about to be underway. Hold on to your hats, folks. Here we go. This is race number 2. Henry King will lead us out.
we're green. Jared.
Away we go. Thomas Wilson and Will Buchanan starting off right alongside each other as we come on down towards turn 1. And already Robbie Bradbury's around into the wall. This is going to cause chaos. You can see the cars all backing up. Have a look at it. James Salhani caught up in that. We've also got Thomas Hins. Thomas Hins is caught in that, as is Brett Loxton. All
That's huge.
Caught up in that. You see the two team shifters.
Have a caution.
Oh, we absolutely are. The safety car is on its way out. What a start to race up to. Have a look at the grabbing of Brett Loxton's car. That car is in serious trouble.
We were talking about the fact that he could lose the championship, but he's just to finish the race. But thankfully, the car is not that bad. He has to bring it home. He has to bring it home.
Have a look at that rear right tyre.
Well, it's like Skippy's jumped out in front of my car in the middle of the Outback Highway.
I don't think I've
Queensland.
ever seen that sort of damage to any car on iRacing on the rear like that. That is something else.
Not just the rear, it's the front. I mean,
the front's all over the place, but I'm just trying to remember which camera angle it is I want to go to here. What is that? That's the right-hand side?
Don't go to cockpit because he's full left.
Have a look at that rear right. Cockpit. Have a look at that rear right.
Wow.
What is going on? And
I know my Nissan Skyline that I had back in the day had full wheel steering, but not that much degree of angle. I'd be in a bit of trouble.
I'm amazed.
Like that.
Like the only thing I can think is that drive shaft is actually completely snapped because there's no way the diff should be turning that wheel at all.
That's going to cost. I mean, but he can afford. He's the only driver right now that can afford to sit in pit road for 30 minutes to repair this car.
Well, I'm just thinking these guys should have a fast repair up their sleeve. That's,
they got fast repair. Yeah, well,
yeah, that's
you know what? Knowing Brett, he probably wouldn't use it.
No,
he probably
not.
would just legitimately say, I'm going to bring this, I'm going to repair it in the old-fashioned, get the duct tape out, get it done, and come back from last place and to win the race and win the championship. I would not be surprised. We are seeing Jared Burns, Aaron, Thomas Wilson, Thomas Linz, Luke Speck, Martin Lipsky. You can see all on the timing tower. They are heading into pit road. They need to head in pit road. There's a lot of carnage, and we'll get a lot of those replays to look at right now.
Keep going, Robbie Bradbury. Car number 2 gets turns himself, in fact, across the Black Hawk Motorsports car and then back onto the track. Nowhere for anyone to go. And look at the impact from Ian Ward into the back of Brett Loxton there. That's what's done that damage to the driveline. Somehow everyone gets their cars moving again. I have absolutely no idea how, but everyone's managed to get them rolling again. I think the worst of the impact there probably was Loxton's car. But, geez, what a...
He did use the fast repair as well. So, Brett, come on, I thought you wanted a bit of a challenge, my friend. But anyway, it could take an hour to fix a car. So, granted on that one. As the boss man, Mitch Carey, does say, they did a fast repair, as you mentioned. Look at the replay again. So, it looks like Robbie, James, Brett Loxton, Jared Burns, Thomas Hins, James Sahani, all involved in this.
This is the view from Loxton's car. Brakes on, and then all of a sudden... Oh, what's going on here? Gets caught up, and then watch this impact.
You got nowhere to go, mate.
Bang.
Yeah.
Gets absolutely flipped from Ian Ward running into the back of him. And what do you do? Like, Loxton had absolutely nowhere to go there. That's the...
You'd say qualify higher, but it's a reverse grid, so you can't do anything about it.
Not a great deal he could have done about that.
Yeah. Henry King will still take the lead in this one over DC. Ryan Palmer. Now, you might have to go on board Ryan Palmer and find out how Ryan Palmer managed to get his way up from, I think it was P11, up into P3 of winning all that carnage. And that's crucial, of course, for that little AM battle. Josh Harris is in P5. That's just that little, bragging rights between those two drivers. That'll be very interesting as well.
Is that will probably be down to Ryan Palmer's start. He's been absolutely nailing his starts all season. So credit to him. We don't shout it out enough.
Can we get an onboard or something?
Yeah, let's do this. This is Ryan Palmer
off
the start. So he's right there. You can see Josh Harris ahead. He picks up a lot of positions there and just follows David Coleman through. Just follows David Coleman through. Sits on the inside. He's got Buchanan just outside him, so he's being careful not to squeeze him out. But that's about all it took. We go back to the green flag.
Mate. Yeah.
Have a look at this launcher. Let's see how Palmer goes off the line here. Uncharacteristically slow off the line. I'll be honest, that's about the worst launch I've seen from him all season, and that's the one we choose to have a look at. I'm sorry, DJ. That's we owe you better than that, honestly.
He sticks up the inside here, which is probably actually the best move.
Have a look at it.
Yeah. Because if any action's going to happen, it's just like physics, isn't it? They're going to go to the outside.
Never, ever, never put yourself on the outside.
Never put yourself on the outside. Of course, you'd have to give it to the fact that Brett Loxton had nowhere to go because those cars all across the track. We're looking at drivers a bit further up on that field. So that's the situation as it is. And at the moment, Henry King had to see all that smoke and carnage behind him.
Keep your eye on Ryan Palmer here. Obviously not live camera footage. This is rather camera footage is live. It's not replay.
I've been trying to think about that for a while, but I think we could do it.
Have a look at just the complete luck of being on the inside at that particular point.
Yes,
that's done it for him.
Some say that in Talladega and Daytona and stuff like that too. When there's incidents and there's crashes, of course, you always get in NASCAR. Some say go right down on the inside apron and just avoid it all. In this case, obviously at Road Atlanta, stick up in the right side apron and just don't lift, just plant it and just close your eyes.
Honestly, if you're in Brett Loxton's shoes, what else do you do but close your eyes when you know so many cars are about to come behind you? at that sort of pace.
Luckily, he won't have that thought through his mind going that this championship's over and done with me, but win that. But the other big element to look at, of course, is Will Buchanan, P4. But what Will Buchanan will like is the fact that Thomas is in P16. He was the one that was involved in that tangle.
I do wonder what sort of impacts that incident is going to have to the final standings here as we go. Green flag racing it once again. We make our way down to turn 1. Let's try it again here, lads. David Coleman takes us through turn 1. Everyone lined up. Look at the amount of debris on the track there from that incident. And everyone just trying to get back underway. This will be interesting to see.
Sweet sweepers yet. Yeah,
no,
I've seen debris kicked
yet.
up all over the track that has destroyed a race before in the past there because iRacing. I mean, you have the lights, like obviously of Nathan Allen out there, the safety car, but he's not going to get there and sweep all the kitty litter off the track.
Well, if he does, I hope he puts the mate outfit on for it. Ian Ward off to the inside.
Got
your back, Mitch Curry.
Got your back. Bringing the puns.
So this, I'm looking at this order, and I'm trying to decide where else in the championship this might impact some standings, and I can't see anything immediately obvious, but I can't honestly recall how many other people are all that close. We might have a bit of a look at it off to the side once we kind of get back into a bit of a rhythm here, folks, and see what we can figure out.
Mitch will figure it out. He'll let us know.
I don't know if he will, mate. I think he's probably busy eating dinner right now.
Mitch, well, Will Buchanan's on the back there, Ryan Palmer, so that'll be an interesting one to look at. Remember Ryan Palmer. How much of a fight he's going to put up here? I think he should put up a big fight because
absolutely he will.
Ryan Palmer most likely, of course, is not going to be in the same category come next season, considering the excellent performance that he's been doing.
Have a look at this. Loxton and Wilson battling it out for P14. Who would have thought you'd see these two names at this point battling it? And Wilson goes off the track, loses the position to Gilbert. Have a look at the Team Jinx shifters cars now. The three of them in a line behind Luke Speck. Hins, Loxton, Gilbert, all there. Wilson's going to try and go with them. Luke Speck, Jared Burns up ahead. James Salhani leading this small group who have a bit of work to do to just stick with the front runners. But this is absolutely the tightest packed group of races on track, and frankly, probably one of the quickest battle packs that we will have seen all season just by nature of who's in amongst it. You know, these drivers have found themselves down the end of the field, but they're some of the fastest drivers we've got on track this season. So expect them to very, very rapidly make their way up to the rest of the field if they can get their move on Salhani done. As you can see, Loxton looks to the inside to try and make... Oh, sorry, Thomas Hins looking to try and make a move on Speck. Speck defending and making sure that he goes nowhere. I reckon this is going to get frustrating very, very quickly for the Team Jinx crowd back here. Ryan Palmer sets the fastest lap of 1:23.612, so he has not come to play. He's absolutely going to battle it out there with Will Buchanan up front.
Yeah, and he's on the back there of DC as well too, and DC's on getting close there on the back there of Henry King. So good battle for the lead packs. But as you said, the hot zone at the moment, and it feels like an Australian summer in the outback. That's where you currently mentioned it. So Thomas Hins, Brad Loxton, big names here, battling it out in some places that I'm not familiar with. But you know, a son of a good racing driver is to handle the situation anytime it presents itself in any race, in any lap. And we're on lap 6:31 to go.
Yeah, still quite a few. Hins has been desperate to get this move done. Luke Speck, he now looks like he's going to get it done on the exit of turn 8 as we head down the back straight. Finally gets the move done. They were side by side on the way into the S's, so Thomas Hins is pushing really, really hard. He knows what's on the line here. He needs to catch Will Buchanan up in 4th place. No two ways about it. Brett Loxton.
Oh, this could be nasty here.
The teammate's got to get this under. Oh, look out behind though. Here comes Luke Speck. Loxton up the inside. No contact. Speck's gonna. Oh, I mean, what do you do there? Luke Speck technically doesn't have anything to redress. He didn't run into anyone. He didn't go off track to gain that position. He's alive and well purely because Thomas Hins got out of the way and let him slide through. I mean, you don't want to try and repeat that every lap, but it's worked for now.
Yeah, but Thomas Ince has to charge up to the field because his main competitor in the championship, the battle for P2 in the championship, is Will Buchanan in P3. So he's got to be thinking at the moment. He's almost like Kimi Räikkönen, isn't he, on the radio going, shut up, I know what I'm doing. And he does know what he's doing. Lichbeck gets a slow down. So that could be an indication of an overtake here. Go a bit of a straightaway. He's got to seize that opportunity. He doesn't know that, actually. That's just fantastic graphics that you have here on the MC Simple Racing Motorsports broadcast, my friend. But will it be enough for him to charge?
Playing some of the slowdown on the way out of the turn there. Just very, very slow to get on the throttle. Hinds right on the rear bumper. Now Thomas Hinds is going to push past.
Like play for Jared Burns as well too. So that'll be an extra position for these drivers coming up soon. He had the lift off big time.
There you go, car number 38. That is... I think that must have been car 58, surely.
It's 58 for
58,
Jared.
I was going to say,
Jared, he's got to come in the pit road.
30 seconds stop and hold.
Oh, that's going to hurt. But it'll help these drivers. Whoa! Aaron Gilbert almost in the back there of Thomas Wilson too. So, oof, my friends, this is not over. You want excitement?
Not even close.
It's grab some moonshine and slap it into the trunk of your car because we're going riding around Road Atlanta.
Henry King just barely hanging on to the front here because here comes David Coleman. He's looking for an opportunity to get out in front. 10-second time penalty for car number 32, Martin Lipsky, with an unsafe rejoin, which must have happened a little further back in amongst it all. And kudos to Race Control, keeping on top of everything all season. They work through it so quickly considering how much they've got to just try and unpick with all of these incidents.
I'll tell you what, I work with a lot of racing leagues as well as you do, Jared, and any racing league that has live race control, and you believe it or not, there's some big leagues out there that don't have live race control. We have the luxury of having that. You have to tell you, I have to pat everybody involved in that one on the back because it's a lot of work and it's great because, you know, you're going to miss iRacing official racing leagues don't even have that. In those endurance races and stuff like that, they do. And we have that luxury here on the MC Motorsport, so we're going to give them a big thanks. It's a little
surprising, isn't it, that even in top splits of major events, Brett Loxton 123.148, absolutely on the move. He's up into P10 where he started now, despite everything that's gone on. Salhani now side by side with Aaron Gilbert as Gilbert looks to go through. Thomas Wilson already getting ahead. Makes it look easy in the end. Gilbert follows Wilson. Salhani drops back just a little further. 5-second penalty coming through for Brett Loxton for contact with car number 308, which was Thomas Wilson. I don't actually know where exactly that one has happened. It must have been in amongst the rest of it, I suppose.
Well, they're looking at it, my friend. They go back and look at the replays.
They're onto it. Absolutely.
Oh, and trust me, I mean, we know as producers as well, too. If you sit there and look at replays all day, you miss half the live entertainment. And we can't show you that, obviously, the pictures, but they have to look at it, and they have to look at it from multiple angles and all that sort of stuff. They've got different drivers, they'll ask drivers. So there is a lot that goes on behind the scenes there as race control, and we appreciate all the work that they're doing. Battle at the moment, too, for the ADHD drivers. On top of that, action everywhere.
Brett Loxton now up into ninth, makes the pass on Kyle Ridley, so he's moving up through the field. Dean Powell still up 11 positions after surviving the mess that was, but here comes Loxton up the inside of turn one. The pace of Brett Loxton, that Team Jinx Shifters car, just next level all season. We say it over and over again, but it's hard to believe that these, like the setups these guys are using are not that much different. These are fairly well-matched cars, but the skill that Brett Loxton brings to this championship, to this series, this season, has been just something to watch. Like the way that he carves through this pack.
And about to come through.
Yeah, Chris Lashbrook is going to lose the spot here. And Loxton makes it look like he's in a whole other class of car. I've seen passes like that happen in
candy from a baby?
I mean, how else do you put it? How else do you put it, honestly?
On top of that as well, you got to remember he was down and out in pit lane getting a fast repair. back in 17th, 18th, 19th place early. He's now up into P7. He could win this race.
It's a lot of work to do, but he's still got 25, 26 laps to do it. Enthusiast Project asking, is there never any GT3 races on weekends? Look, not with the MC Motorsport League, right? It's not something that they run as part of this particular league in terms of weekend racing. There are, however, and it depends on the time zone you're in, I suppose. If you're in the Aussie time zones, then you will find that Friday nights, the endurance championship that goes on with MC every second week, is a multi-class endurance race on a Friday night, which yours truly does his best to participate in. In the Porsche
you're
Cups,
racing.
But there's also GT3s.
Thomas Hins
in
is
that.
also side by side at the moment of Carl Ridley, if you want to go into that one. Because remember, he's battling it out crucially and trying to get his way up the wheel. And that's tight. Exactly. And if you want to tune in, as Jared said, Jared will be racing as well, too. I'm not sure Jared will be wheel-to-wheel racing like that. Maybe. But we'll see.
Look, I will point out that the last round, which was Friday a week ago, took home my first MC Motorsport race victory in the Porsche Cup. Now, to be fair, I was the only Porsche Cup in the race, but it was still a race victory, and I'm standing by that.
Oh, well, yeah, thank you. Good job. Hey, you got to be in it to win it, my friend, and you were in it to win it. Top three, huge battle. Henry King, DC, and Will Buchanan. Will Buchanan would be loving to have a race win at the moment, knowing the fact that Thomas is like his way up through the field there. He's in P10 currently at the moment. DC in P2, Will Buchanan in P3. Henry King still leading this race, but he's been chased down big time at the mode here. And there's nothing fishy about the new fishy motorsports entry of DC.
No, good to see him finding the form that he's been so well known for. As you see, Thomas Hins now makes the move on Chris Lashbrook from ADHD Racing, and in the end makes it look pretty easy. I've got to wonder if Lashbrook's just giving these guys a bit of room. He knows they're usually up the top end of the pack, and they are very, very quick. You don't want to get too locked into battle with them as they try and make their way up through. Lashbrook, a big moment there.
DC's going to go for the lead here as well too, my friend. He's been getting feisty at the moment. He's showing Henry King his front spoiler. Henry King says, okay, my friend, I'm going to chuck a couple of bottles of moonshine out the back there. But he's gone off the racing line here. He's going to get side by side. No, he's going for it. That's actually Will Buchanan. Will Buchanan got DC in the attack.
I think by the way that Dave got out of the way there, either he's had a slowdown that we didn't pick up on, which is unlikely. I think actually he's just had a really, really poor exit out of turn 8 there, or turn 7 rather.
Will can P1 soon. Ooh.
Yeah, and that's the ideal for him, isn't it? I mean, Thomas Hins now takes Dean Power. We just saw that shift on the timing tower. He's up into 8th. And Brett
Loxton's up into Josh Harris going to pit road, so that's interesting. Pit stops there early there if Josh Harris gets out of the way. Now, but the thing is, Will Buchanan can actually play some psychological games. If he can get past Henry King, guess what's going to be going into the race control message there of Thomas, who's running in P7. It'll be Will Buchanan is leading the race. That's going to throw you off, isn't it? Because it's going to make you push faster.
Well, you think so? You'd think so. Loxton now on the back of Starrett. This is now a battle for 5th for Brett Loxton. Absolutely phenomenal. Lap 1, turn 1, takes one of the biggest shunts I've ever seen in Gen 3 supercar racing here on iRacing that has still been able to be driven away. I've never seen a rear wheel at that angle still attached to one of these cars.
Keep
And after you can tell Loxton is on a mission. Like he is rubbing panels and just charging on through Jackson Starrett, who is not
but
slow
Jackson
in
doesn't
his
need
own
to
right.
lift. No, Jackson's a bit like, hey, my friend, you may be very much winning the championship, but I'm going to be battling you to the tooth and nail to the very end. Got the inside line as well too, but I think Brett's going to be a little bit more confident on the braking, and thus gets the overtake. Brett up currently at the moment, believe it or not, into P5. Well,
Absolutely phenomenal.
how's it panning out? Will, P2, got to hunt down Henry King. Still leading this race out for the Team Jinx Shifters, Revolution Racing versus Team Jinx Shifters. And more importantly, what Will Buchanan is thinking about, Thomas Hins, P7. Pit stops for all of these drivers still yet to be taken. And also, come back to that one, Brett took that pit stop, remember, under that early caution for a fast repair. Did he get gas? Could he go longer and deeper into this
even
race?
if he had, I don't think he's, even with the refuel, I don't think he's going to be able to get to the end. So that's probably why he's making such bold moves at the moment to try and get back up front. And credit to him. Like, I'm sitting here trying to find an appropriate adjective to describe a driver who gets wiped out turn 1, lap 1, and before the halfway point of a not particularly long race is already back into the top 5.
Sebastian Vettel, Brazil.
See, that's...
I can't remember the year.
That's what we're comparing Hoxton to right now. Is
Battling for a championship with, 3 drivers, I think, in the championship hunt. And he got taken. I don't really like Sebastian personally, but he did a fantastic fight back to win the championship. Because I was going for Mark Webber, but you know,
well, you have
being
to.
Aussie,
it's the rules.
Yeah. But he did it, and he got taken out in the center S's, and and then he fought his way back through the field. So anything can happen.
Flashbrook into the pits. Kyle Ridley gets the bump up into P10. Luke Speck going with him. So still plenty of cars out on track. A lot more separation now. The pit stops have started to come in though. You can see most of those gaps really just down to drivers that have pitted and those who haven't at this stage.
I think Will Buchanan's going to be on. If Will Buchanan doesn't do something, DC's going to want to take that place back. But Will Buchanan's pushing Henry King to the limits here. Henry King is really sliding all over the place, big time. There's a difference between the drivers here, and on top of it, you've got DC hunting you down in the background. This is what is difficult for a driver, because you've got to be looking forwards and looking backwards. Will Buchanan's looking to get past Henry King, but he's also got to remember that DC's pretty quickly behind him. He's going to get a great overtake, perhaps, potentially here, between Loxton
going
and
through
Palmer.
Ryan Palmer. And Ryan Palmer, the top-rated AM Cup driver, has been mixing it at the front end with a lot of these guys all season, and Loxton passes him like he's standing still. Just...
Ryan may have lifted a little bit there. I mean, you can't get Ryan Palmer.
That is absolutely not something that Ryan Palmer will do. I can guarantee you that.
Well, he won't do it next season.
No, I mean, he won't do it
He'll
ever.
be racing the big boys in that one, won't he, in the pro class?
He absolutely will, but regardless of being an AM Cup, he's still competing for the overall championship with these guys, so he's got no reason to let any driver through. Loxton just...
He's too nice of a fella. He's just
Ryan
so
Palmer,
right,
you've clearly never raced with Ryan. he will defend
I haven't raced with anybody, my friend. I stood up in the commentary box.
Ryan Palmer put on one of the absolute masterclasses of defensive driving a few rounds back in holding off Jamie Dyke. And did such an incredible job. Had he managed just one more lap of it, he would have taken that race win, but it wasn't to be. But really, and look, I joke and I give Mr. Palmer probably more grief than I have rights to a lot of the time in the Discord. But honestly, he is a top driver and a decent bloke, if a little polarizing at times. But seriously, the guy knows his craft. He's not quite got the pace of some of these front runners, but he's certainly not far off it. And I think we'll see a lot. Here we go. Will Buchanan. Or the challenge is on. Can Henry King hold it?
He's been throwing dummies at him too for now. Henry King's been positioning that 52 Mustang in all the right places, my friend. But Will Buchanan's just he's been throwing a couple of cards down at the moment. He's been going, I got a pair, I got 2 aces. He's got the full house. Does he have a straight? Does he have a flush? Would be the key, isn't it?
I reckon Coleman might have actually let Buchanan through to have a crack at Henry King. I think, Coleman's smart, right?
That's fishy. That's fishy.
It is, but it's something we've seen him do before, right? David Coleman will absolutely have a few goes, and then he'll actually back it off and let someone else have a go while he lets his tyres just come back to him. Don't be surprised if you see Coleman start to lift his pace again shortly.
So he says, okay, you have a crack. If you don't get it done, DC will be taking P1.
Yeah,
He'll just
be taking it a little bit easy on the tyres, because he's trying to trying to make sure that he's got enough in it as we see Starrett and Thomas Hinz side by side down the hill into turns 10AB. Starrett's up the inside, not going to get there in time. Hinz comes across, shuts the door, picks up another position. He's up into P6.
Yeah,
David
DC
Coleman comes in.
right.
There we go.
Yeah.
So he's been held up long enough. He wants a bit of clear air.
So
Starrett
Thomas up
runs
into P6.
very, very wide.
Will knows that Thomas is in P6. He's, I don't know if he's necessarily been happy to follow Henry King for a good chunk of 15 laps for now. But he's going to have to do it. And who's going to jump first in the pit road? Whoa, bad exit from Henry King. That's going to give it a little bit of a run too. As well for Will. But he can't put his nose up there too much. Get the chicane. He's going to be sliding all over the place, my friend. Oh, sends up the inside. Says Henry King, you've been dethroned, my friend. No, Henry comes back and says, all hail to the king, baby. It ain't over yet, my friend. Henry King, Team G Shifters on top, still here for pit stops, looming the distance for these drivers.
Do you reckon Will Buchanan's going to remember that he doesn't actually need to pass Henry King at this point? Like, I know that he's probably watching Loxton closing that gap down, but that gap is still 5.5 seconds at the moment. He's watching Thomas Hinz all the way back in 5th, who continues to climb up through the rankings. And I get that Buchanan really wants to wrap up P2 here, but he's putting himself at serious risk if he battles it with Henry King here.
You got to understand that Brett Loxton's in P3, mate. So you can forget about P2 or even P1. Brett's on the rise here. Brett's going to steal the show.
I'm talking championship here, though. You know, this
of course,
one
in
race
the
result is
championship,
one
you're going to
thing,
be thinking about. Yeah.
Buchanan needs to drive smart here. Yeah, it'd be lovely to get past Henry King, but it's also not going to hurt him. Have a look in the background. There's Brett Loxton. Oh.
Yeah, that's what I said. Brett Loxton's coming in the background pretty quickly. So, if anything, Will's going to be thinking, okay, Brett is coming and coming fast. I don't want to be battling a driver behind me. I want to be battling Henry King. So, should I look at pitting soon and then just get the whole pit stop battle there? See if I can beat him at a pit road when Henry King has to come in. And then, of course, just probably maybe let Brett just go up the road there and just take a victory again. That's the situation he's going to be thinking right now, isn't it? But Will's got to make sure to him that he keeps Thomas at bay, who's currently running in P5. But remember, Thomas has taken his pit stop now. So how much time is this costing Will?
Thomas Hinz goes up the inside of Ryan Palmer, now finds himself on the outside of the exit of 10. So we head up the hill again. Palmer maintains his position for another couple turns at least. And Thomas Hinz into the pits.
There it is. So Thomas again?
Well, the first time around was just repairs. It was just repairs the first time around. So, and that's the thing, Brett Loxton, for all of the work he's done to try and catch the duo out front of King and Buchanan, he's going to have to come in and pit at some point.
Yep.
So that's going to win this race.
Mark my words, you young.
I mean, this is the thing, right? King hasn't pitted, neither has Buchanan. Ryan Palmer hasn't, Jackson Starrett hasn't. Aaron Gilbert was one of the cars caught up in that lap 1 incident. Really the first driver on track that's had let's call it a proper normal pit stop, is David Coleman back in P10. So here's DC at the moment.
DC could be essentially the lead of this race.
We're talking
pit stops.
Let's have a look here. So Thomas Hinz is back out on track. 41.5 seconds end to end. It's a short pit lane here. So the amount of time you'll lose going through pits, 41 seconds. The gap from Coleman to the front at the moment is only 30 seconds. So he's trying to rely on that very, very strong undercut that we know these Gen 3s are great at. Brett Loxton comes in. So Coleman is on track to end up somewhere in the region of, I'd say, about probably 15 seconds ahead of Brett Loxton on the other side.
DC should get past them for sure, right?
He should be 10 or 15 seconds ahead. The question is just how far ahead he's going to be. So keep your eye on
Luke
this.
Speck will be the leader on pit stops, essentially. He goes past, so
no
Sideways Esports.
Specs is the repair on lap 1.
Oh, that is correct as well, too. My apologies.
So here we go. David Coleman comes through. Let's see what the gap is from Coleman back to Loxton when Loxton does exit. So Loxton out of his box now. He's on the way out of the pits. So the gap, we're looking for about 15 seconds. And there we go, 11 seconds. So Loxton very, very quick. Still took 46 seconds. Just shy of 46 seconds end to end in the pits. But that 11 seconds is going to get absolutely eaten up here. And David Coleman's going to have a real battle on his hands. Prior to pit stops, DC's fastest lap was still 0.6 slower than Loxton's.
Pit stop at the moment will be from Will. Will comes in. Henry King will remain in the lead of this race. Ryan Palmer, Jackson Starrett, Dean Power, and Kyle Ridley all yet to go down pit road. Luke Speck will have to go down pit road as well to the DC. He should be able to overtake them, maybe-ish. Let's see how that pans out.
In comes Power. Ridley continues.
Yep. DC is essentially still about 1/3 of a track away from pit lane.
Here he comes. He's just rounded the final turn, so he's probably got about 10 seconds to get past Buchanan.
He got past him.
This will tell you just how far ahead DC's trying to remain. He'd want to be about 10 seconds ahead. He's only going to be about 5 ahead. The real question is, where's Buchanan going to be in relation to Brett Loxton? He's split the difference. 5 seconds forward to David Coleman, 5 seconds back to Brett Loxton. These guys are well spaced at the moment. Let's see who gets the moves done. These fresh tyres, this will be Buchanan and Loxton's fastest laps on these tyres, just about to happen here. So what do you reckon? Brett Loxton so far 123.15 is his best. I mean, we look at the weather now. And track temps have dropped to 36 degrees, so it should be getting a little bit quicker. I'm going to call it now. We're about to see a 22 from Loxton. It'll be a high 22, but it'll be a 22.
Here we go. Jared's called it. A 22 is on the cards. Who's going to lay it down first? 22?
22
in qualifying.
Loxton's pulled a 23.15 in these temps.
Oh.
So this lap, okay. I expect
Practice.
a 22.
Practice doesn't count.
No. This race, Loxton's fastest at 23.15.
Oh, 23. I thought you said 21.
No.
I was like, what?
I reckon we'll see him tip into the 22s here, though. Yeah. If it's not this lap, it'll be the one after. Mark my words.
Oh, I'm not denying it, that one, my friend. I'm talking 21. I was calling you on the 21s.
Yeah, well, that's a fair one to call me out on, because that would be very ambitious. There we go. Brett Loxton across the line at 22.66. Absolutely flying.
There you have it. I'm telling you, you can still win this race.
The last lap from David Coleman at 24.3. Brett Loxton has chewed almost 2 seconds out of David Coleman as the effective race leader. That is insanely fast.
That's what I'm telling you. I need to add some more bottles of moonshine to the back of that 208 Mustang. But, unfortunately, iRacing doesn't allow the promotion of illegal moonshine.
It doesn't allow the promotion of legal alcohol on anybody's either, to be fair. And look, I get it, right? It's designed to be enjoyed by all ages. Not everyone's going to be over the legal drinking age.
Well, why does Formula One get in there and just promote 0% alcohol from an alcohol company but nobody ever drinks it? So obviously we all know the reason why they do that. Come on, I mean, it ain't no spoiler out there in case you haven't been alert. I've never seen a single person ever go buy Heineken 0.00 in a bar or even in a drive-through a liquor place. So we all know the whole reason why they do that, right? To splash the brand name. You might still put cigarette companies going, there's no tobacco in this, so just smoke it. Like they used to sponsor all the motor
very
racing
philosophical for a Monday night, mate.
Yeah, it is. Oh, Sunday night for me, mate. I work in US time.
Oh yeah, of course.
Sunday morning.
Of course.
Yeah.
The battle's still going on, despite the separation from pit stops. There's still a few here. Harrison Starrett. That's a mouthful we haven't actually had to wrap our tongues around so far this season. But Josh Harris, Jackson Starrett, 11th and 12th right now.
And Ricky comes in from the lead of this race as well too. Yep, but keep on that one. Joss and Jackson, not a law firm.
Oh, big
Super
move
quick
there from
races.
Starrett. Jams it across the other side. He's going to take Josh Harris here through these couple of turns. Harris has got an opportunity though. Bit of over under and
Have we got a Harris cam?
Oh, do we have a Harris cam? We actually don't have a Harris cam tonight.
Oh, okay.
I stand corrected. We do. We
Josh
didn't.
Harris.
We didn't have a Harris cam when I checked in earlier, but we absolutely do. And
Hey,
there he
Josh.
is, Josh Harris, doing all right. Yeah, it is a smaller grid here for the final round. There's a couple of reasons for that. I mean, obviously there are people who are well and truly out of the championship who have decided not to race tonight, but there are also a number of drivers who haven't met the participation requirements, and not a huge number of them, but some drivers who haven't been able to participate in as many races as they need to actually be eligible to race tonight. One of the great things about MC Motorsport is that they do for the final race of the season put some fairly strict limits on who can participate to ensure that we don't have people who haven't been racing and familiar with the car throughout the season. We don't have people showing up just for the last week and potentially putting championships at risk. And look, lap 1, turn 1, had it not been for Brett Loxton's performance throughout the rest of the season, that could have very easily ended someone's championship with that particular crash. I'm a little surprised that Josh Harris has gone back to his face cam as opposed to the foot cam we were running last week. See a bit of
beautiful face. What's wrong with Josh Harris?
Nothing wrong with Josh Harris. So it's just
Ryan Palmer and Kyle Gumpin from the lead of this race as well too. Josh Harris will continue on at the moment because he's taken his pit stop as well, back on lap 12. Yeah, exactly. Well, I want to get a t-shirt that says, lap 1, turn 1. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
We'll market that one. We'll put that at the MC Motorsports. Sorry, Mitch. It's all right, mate.
Actually, you know what? Give us a shout in the chat. What do you reckon the motorsport equivalent of the wooden spoon should be? Right, forget the last place finishing, but for the driver who causes the most incidents for the season.
And Jackson Starrett and Kyle Ridley as well too, and Dean Powell. They come in and pit stops. But as you get, yep, go ahead on that one.
Down through the S's, Dean Powell. Oh, there's almost a nudge there in the back of Kyle Ridley. This is dangerous. I reckon there's an award there somewhere for some kind of t-shirt or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but we'll come up with something. Ridley and Powell locked in it here. Starrett's getting a bit of a free pass on this battle for the moment.
Jared for president.
Yeah, no thank you. For so many reasons that we're not going to go into here tonight or at all for that matter. Brett Loxton and Henry King, watch that gap falling out in front. David Coleman had 5 seconds over Buchanan, who had 5 seconds over Loxton. Both those gaps now down to just 2 seconds. Loxton already starting to come off the pace a little. When I say a little though, a 23.16 is certainly not slow. Yeah, spot on. Look, GT3s always attract a big grid as we see the slide down through that final turn.
They also attract bigger incidents as well too, my friend, because I broadcast a lot of leagues on those. And I actually prefer the V8 supercars over most of the GT3 leagues, to be honest. But that's my opinion, because I've done it a while.
I know Mitch Curry will definitely agree. Luke Speck, a meatball. What's happened to Speck?
Ooh.
Let's go back and take
off track somewhere, my friend. Yeah, that causes meatball.
Where's he hit the wall here?
But
big moment. Oh, that's a big hit. Big hit for Luke Speck, and sure enough, that car will not be...
Would you like some parmesan cheese with your meatballs?
Wow.
Ow. Sorry
that car's
about
not
my friend Luke.
Not going to be coming back to this race tonight because Speck's already used his fast repair after that earlier
Kyle
incident.
Ridley and Jackson Starrett once again. Familiar faces, familiar territory, and the last time you're going to see it this season. Side by side, who's going to be bold and brave? Who's going to chicken foot it? as the Americans like to say, into the corner. They're not chicken for it. They're going to make it side by side, mate. Wow.
They're at a big slide, but holds on to it, loses a position, but gets my award for best recovery so far tonight.
Yeah,
Brings Josh Harris back into it.
Best recovery award. Going to be handing that one. You don't drink it out of a shoe, do you?
Oh, gosh, no.
Sorry, Daniel Ricciardo. Just start laid back there at the moment, my friend. I know you're eager to go racing.
There you go.
But you're not going to be drinking from the shoe.
Luke Speck has had a wheel disconnect there. That's absolutely what's happened. The hardware failures have been a real feature this season, haven't they?
It's like real
we've seen
world,
quite a few
my
of
friend.
them.
Yeah.
And
Cats jump on your laps there. You know, your missus tells you you got to take out the trash, and you're halfway through a race. I mean, it happens. The kids could start buggering you because, you know.
Watch the wheel here. You can see exactly where it disconnects. It snaps left. Full left lock.
There
back.
it is. Yeah. No driver would do that. Not even me. And I can't drive. So it goes to show it's an actual DC connection from.
You know, I know what you mean by saying you can't drive, but my headcanon now is that you actually physically don't know how to turn a car on.
I would never steer a steering wheel into a full left like that. Even if I tried, I couldn't do it.
I don't think it's possible to do it that quickly without seriously breaking.
And if I could,
some
I'd probably like, damn, I could probably avoid an incident. But that's not the case, of course. Goes to show you that when these drivers in this skill level you have here at MC Motorsports don't do that. When you see that, you know for a fact in a replay that that's a actual technical malfunction. The car's steering wheel just literally broke on the poor driver, and he got nothing to do. What are you going to do?
Have a look at this now, starting to close up out in front. David Coleman, Will Buchanan, Brett Moxton, Henry King.
I'll tell you, Brett's going to win this race, mate. I'm telling you.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
You wouldn't have thought about it, would you, of what, 20 laps to go? But Brett says, hey, team radio, I've got this. Shut the beep up. I know what I'm doing.
The real question is it too little too late for Thomas Hinds? He's back in 5th. He's 9 seconds back from David Coleman.
Well, he needs Brett to get into Will.
I mean,
that's what he needs.
There will absolutely be some questions asked here in the commentary booth if Loxton does give Buchanan a little bit of a tap on the way through that puts him into the wall.
Well, what can you do if you're Thomas, mate? At this point, you really got nothing to. Will's not going to want to yield that. Oh, but he did actually. He did line through.
Loxton was up the inside there every day of the week. Luke Speck joins in the chat, mate. That was absolutely a disappointing way to end your season, mate.
We saw that, mate. Yeah.
That was rough, and you're spot on. You were having a great drive tonight, so it is not great to see, mate. So very, very sorry to hear. You joined the list, a very distinguished list of drivers who have had significant hardware failures this season. I don't know what it's been, but.
You went sideways, Luke Speck, into the fence, not by your record, of course, but sideways. Remember Sideway Esports? Luke Speck runs that fantastic number 15. So,
I feel like that's not the advertising campaign for Sideways Esports that they perhaps were hoping for, but nevertheless. Here we go. Loxton has caught David Coleman. It hasn't taken long at all, and now Coleman's going to have the fight.
DC, don't let me down, DC, at the moment. Come on, mate. 7 laps to go. Don't let him win. He's won the championship essentially at this point, and DC, you want to deny him. I love Brett. Brett's a fantastic driver.
Loxton more than half a second quicker last lap. That's
but DC ain't gonna let him pass, mate. One thing to catch, another thing to overtake.
Look, it is, and on a lot of other tracks, I'd say that Coleman has a real shot at holding Loxton behind. And
let's bring it to the fans out there. Let's bring it to the audience out there.
I reckon I'm going to get a lot of agreement out there in the chat. Loxton has way too much real estate on this track for Coleman to have any hope of holding him back legally. That is. If Coleman doesn't mind copping a couple of 10-second penalties for moving under braking and
have you ever seen
blocking.
a piranha go against anything? I mean, basically at the moment, DC is going to be throwing some piranhas there on the track there and going, bite. Come on. Take a bite. Take a bite, Brett. Take a bite.
Have a look at the Coleman, though. You can tell that he's still having a crack at this because he was sitting middle of the track
got
making
him. He's got him.
locks him. Not even... David Coleman not even putting up the fight there, and I absolutely understand that and respect that he's not going to battle unnecessarily and put anyone at risk here. As much as I know he wants to, he's not in this championship fight. As we see Thomas Wilson now gets up the inside of Aaron Gilbert. Gilbert will just tuck in behind and looking pretty happy in 7th. Thomas Hinz.
Yeah.
Now
push,
out to
push,
12
push.
seconds. It's done for Hinz, and that's
We
really
should push the
disappointing.
pass, mate. No, you got to get to push the pass. Use it. Wait, these cars don't push the pass, do they? Yeah, of course I know that.
I
but
mean,
I'll just test the
Push the accelerator pedal,
here.
I guess.
Well, he needs something drama to happen at the road. That's it at this point, because Will Buchanan could be definitely on and will secure that P2 in the championship. However, race is not over, man. There's still 5 laps to go. That's what Thomas is going to be hoping for. And you've got to keep driving for that too, as a driver, because you never know. And trust me, I've seen it before on broadcast, and you have before in the many leagues that we've done over the years, Jared, that shenanigans can happen at the road, but you never give up and you never surrender. You put the cigar in your face and you do that Winston Churchill thing. I will never give up.
I think smoking while driving a race car is frowned upon these days, honestly.
A virtual cigar in the virtual racing driver's face is all you need.
I'm sure someone can find a helmet out there in Trading Paints that has something very, very much like that already on it. Wilson and Gilbert still going out of here. Gilbert's not letting Wilson get away. I don't know how this is going to go the last few laps.
2010 F1 vibes. I got that one too. That's when I first started broadcasting, commentating was the early F1 games before they went to shenanigans. But yeah. Hey, these drivers don't drive in T-cam like the F1 esports drivers do. These are real racing drivers that drive in cockpit cam. Jared, you can probably show us how it feels driving a cockpit cam of Ryan Palmer.
Look, I reckon we may as well. Let's jump on board with Ryan Palmer because
see, that's not easy, is it?
He's back into full concentration mode here, and fair enough too because he's up 4 spots, and look, holding a good 4-second lead at the moment. I don't think he's going to catch Gilbert at this point.
An F1 esports driver would have crashed by now because again, the car doesn't include the track like it does in the F1 game.
I take it there's a little bit of F1 history there for you, mate.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's just a little.
Just a little. I'm just glad I moved to iRacing.
Ryan Palmer, as always, the SpongeBob helmet and the Love Hard Boxer race suit. It's the signature.
Ryan Palmer, for next season, I want you to put a SpongeBob racing helmet on when you're racing. You can lift the visor, it's fine.
I had to jump forward because Aaron Gilbert's just got that pass done. Finally on Thomas Wilson. It's been coming for a few laps now. We'll go back and take another look. The iRap Designs replay. Have a look at it. Exactly the same spot.
Oh!
Gets the over-under. Nothing in it. Wilson a little bit of a shuggle on the exit. That's a technical term, folks.
All you Americans out there, be all hello. Can't even remember what it's called. Anyway, told you Brett was going to win this race, did I not?
Mate, up until about 10 laps ago, I don't think anyone would have believed that. Just a phenomenal drive, and
but we'll get past DC to take the P2 because there'll be P2 in the championship for him as well. Even though he probably has at the moment.
I mean, he's gonna take a big look at it, isn't he?
Yeah, this will be bragging rights. I mean, why not finish first in the championship, second in the championship? If Thomas can his way up at the P3, that'll be gold on that one. But that's the situation.
Big moment for David Coleman. Look at the slide. He's going to lose a lot of pace there. Oh, there's contact! Nothing intentional, just David Coleman really struggling with the car as he came up and over the top of the hill, getting all sorts of sideways. And so those tyres, they've reached well and truly the end of their useful life in these conditions. 17, 18 laps old now, And
At least they're not
there's
Michelin's
nothing left.
in Indianapolis in Formula One a few years ago. Yeah, that'll be a whole different situation. But these should be able to hold up at the moment, as you mentioned.
It's a big ask. They've been put through a lot here tonight with David Coleman. Came in early, went for the undercut, and look, it is going to net him a pretty good result overall. But absolutely no denying Brett Loxton. Well, Brett Loxton, after wiping out turn 1, lap 1, is back to a 3-second lead in the penultimate lap here at Road Atlanta. How do you take anything away from him?
He
honestly
wants to talk to you, Jared, on the podium steps here for the interviews. And I'll tell you what, does Will Buchanan want to talk to you because he has to fight his way past Henry King at the moment. He wants to talk to you on the 3rd step of the podium, 2nd in the championship. Would you deny him a chat and the post-race interviews if he just misses out the podium? Does he have to actually get past Henry King?
Haven't decided yet. We'll let him figure it out. This is the final lap, folks. One more lap here at Road Atlanta before we call the MCV8 series to a close for another fantastic season. Brett Loxton has just done it all this season. As we take a look, here he is, just coming through the S's. Honestly, making it look so easy out front. The battles aren't done, though. Coming across the line now, Dean Pound, Kyle Lydia, door to door. They need to be careful. We saw this last week. These cars have a tendency to just get stuck together by the aero effect coming off the side of these cars. And lucky there for Ridley and Pound not both ending up in the wall, because that was very, very close to experiencing exactly the same as we saw last week at Bathurst. Ridley gets the lead. He's got to hold on to it.
That's my drone camera. I want that back.
Yeah, look, it's in good condition. You'll get it back. I promise you.
Thank you.
Let's see if Henry King can get this pass done. Coleman goes to the inside, forces King outside. They're both late on the brakes. Coleman's going to be up the inside. Is this the opportunity that Buchanan's been waiting for? Are they going to come together here? They get it done. They're side by side. We go to the start-finish line, though, because here comes Brett Loxton. That's the win and the championship. No question about it. Brett Loxton is undeniably your MC8s season winner for Season 2 here. Nothing at all could... We're already seeing the challenge thrown down to Brett Loxton in the chat. You love to see it. Hins and Gilbert right there next to each other. Hins picking up a black flag across the line, so I don't know quite what that even means. But
it doesn't matter at this point.
At this point,
he's
really
got
doesn't
P3
matter.
in the championship. Yeah, he did everything for P2.
We see the last of the team coming across the line. But
come on, Barney, wave that flag. Wave it.
Hats off to Brett Loxton. It's been an absolutely stellar season for him, and has made it look, most of the way through, he's made it look pretty easy. And tonight, I mean, how do you even describe a drive that starts with being taken out on lap 1 of 36 at turn 1? A massive shunt.
I can. It's called BRETT.
Just absolutely huge.
You can't count this man out. He's one of the quickest drivers in Australia, my friend.
Let's go back and take a look. This was the hit. Right back at the start of this race, Brett Loxton gets caught up. Turn 1, lap 1, nowhere to go. And watch for Ian Ward coming through behind. Massive hit. And from
he
that
slows
damage,
it down, but he got hit from behind. Exactly. And he goes, they're going to hold me out.
But have a look at that rear right wheel. I'm stunned that that's actually still connected. That is still
Jared's
connected
gone down
to
the
the
pit
diff.
road. He's actually inspecting the wheel right now to make sure it's okay.
And from that point, lap 1 of race 2, Loxton drives it back to the pits somehow,
Wins the race.
and comes back from there to win the race. Like, that is absolute
That's called
drive.
the Loxton effect, my friend. It's a new terminology we have here in MC Motorsports. You've been Loxton, dude.
Loxton, we'll go with that. Why not?
Loxton.
No, not a rolling start, standing start. Just that these guys all get rolling pretty quickly, so it doesn't take much to make it look that way. Let's take a look at the results from race number 2, and Brett Loxton takes the win ahead of David Coleman and Henry King, with Will Buchanan not far behind in 4th, Aaron Gilbert and Thomas Wilson, then Ryan Palmer in 7th, Kyle Ridley in 8th, Dean Powell and Jack the Starrett rounding out your top 10 ahead of Josh Harris, James Salhani, Chris Lashbrook and Robbie Bradbury, then Thomas Hinz, unfortunately finishing back in 15th ahead of Ian Ward. And I suspect there would have been a slowdown or something there that's impacted his finishing position. Jared Burns a lap down, Luke Speck, that massive hardware failure taking him out of the race. Martin Lipsky and Hayden Cupid not starting either of the races this evening. Brett Loxton, though, you'd have to say, wrapping that one up. We'll see if we do get either of the Team Jinx Shifters entries in to have a chat to us. But in the meantime, it has been a moment, but we'll bring back to the booth a voice that some of you may recall from many moons ago, I think we'll call it now. David Coleman, welcome back to the booth, my friend.
Hey boys, yeah, been a while.
It's been a minute.
DC.
Yeah, I've had a shocker this season, but it is what it is. Brett's quick, so yeah, good on him. Hopefully he takes the one and
bit of an understatement.
number 1 and takes the curse. So good luck to him season 3.
Yeah, mate. Look, it's not been the season you'd hope for in terms of defending that championship, I know, but I tell you what, that's not a bad way to finish the season off. The undercut playing its part for you once again, hey?
It did. I got probably a bit disappointed I didn't get the win, but I got one heat win at Brands Hatch, so that's something. Henry did, I don't know, credit to his driving. He raced hard. He probably let Loxton catch up a bit, I reckon, but that's racing. You got a teammate, you may as well use it. So that's Dykey's fault. So he should have been here and backed me up. But it is what it is. It was good racing. It was a good battle at the end. So at least it was nice and close towards the end.
Absolutely, mate. The big question, as always, we get to the end of the season, and obviously this season not quite what you had hoped for in terms of defending the championship. Are we going to see you back for the next round of MCV8s post the GT3 season? I know it's a fair way off yet, but
it's probably a good thing. Work's hectic for me at the moment, so I'll come back, and fingers crossed. I think defending, attacking is a lot better than defending, so fingers crossed I can be a bit quick, and if Loxton takes number 1, which he better, hopefully that curse slows him down a bit, so fingers crossed.
A little bit for you, hey?
Yeah, but anyway, I won't take much time, boys. Credit to the broadcasters always. We'll look forward to tuning into it and watching it after the race, because I was at the front, so that's a bit of a bonus.
No, bloody good race as always, mate. Thanks again for being a part of it this season, even if it wasn't, quite as much as you would have hoped. And always a pleasure to have the Fisher Motorsports team represented in the crowd, and also coming in to say hello to us in the booth afterwards. It's what we'd love to see. David Coleman, congrats on P2 tonight, mate.
Thanks, boys.
So, Biggles, that's Mr. Coleman. We've got a couple other people to chat to here, and I think we'll start off with let's go to Thomas Hinz and bring him on into the booth. Thomas, you with us?
Hey, how you going,
mate? What a final race, eh? Not at all what we had predicted for it. In the end, probably not the finish that you'd probably predicted or had in mind there, but I tell you what, credit where credit's due to yourself and to Aaron and to Henry and to Brett. The come from behind for basically the entire Team Jinx Shifters team after getting caught up in that turn 1 incident is something pretty special. You've got to be pretty proud of that, right?
Yeah, thanks, man. It was good to come back through. It was definitely, I'm pretty proud of my season performance, frankly. I think I did the best I could. Just unfortunately, the last two rounds, I just got stuff, pretty much everything out of my hands. Just, it all decided that no, you're not going to get that second. So I think if I've done the maths right, I should hold third, I think, despite that issue there at the end. Without, obviously, any penalties or whatever's going on post-race, but it's a tough one. I still will be annoyed about last week for a long time. But that's just such a real tough way to end it, but you know, everyone else on the team, Brett was untouchable. He was amazing all season, so huge kudos to Brett, huge kudos to Will for holding second as well. They all drove really well, so you know, good drives all around, but yeah, just didn't go the right way it wanted to at the end, I suppose.
Yeah, look, it is a tough way to end what has been a really, really good season for you right throughout, Tom, and look, I think your numbers are pretty well right, based on what I'm looking at here, and we'll bring them up in a moment, but it looks to me like you've held on to that third spot in the championship by a good 10 or 11 points, of course, before any fastest lap points, but I think it's safe to say those probably end up in Brett's hands again this week.
Yeah,
after those efforts. So, mate, yeah, look, seriously, all of the last couple of rounds aside, a cracking season for you. It's been a pleasure to watch from our perspective. Congratulations on the third place for the championship. Yeah, I honestly just a phenomenal showing from the Team Jinx Shifters crew this season. I'm sure Brett will give them all a shout out as well, but anyone in particular that you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, just the team and all their support. Brett for always doing the hard yards on the setup and everything. Yeah, obviously big thanks to them and the league for running the series. Everyone who raced in it as well. And yeah, big thanks to you guys for the broadcast as well and throughout the whole season, showing the great racing that was going on. So yeah, thanks very much for that, guys.
A pleasure as always, mate. We'll let you get back to it. Thomas Hinz, P3 in the championship overall. Congratulations once again, and looking forward to chatting to you again, I'm sure, in the not too distant future.
Hopefully so. Thank you.
We'll go now. I think we'll leave Brett Loxton hanging for just a brief moment more as we bring the AM Cup winner into the booth, Ryan Palmer, ADHD Racing. What a season for yourselves right throughout. Congratulations on a commanding performance in the AM Cup, which has probably left most of that AM Cup crew wondering why on earth you were there to begin with.
Yeah, no, it was good. That was a tough season. You know, I had Josh on my tail pretty much the whole time. You know, we came out firing. You know, we're just like, we really wanted to lock in and get the best result we could. But yeah, I was probably a little bit underprepared for this round. Road Atlanta is not my favourite track, let alone in something that doesn't have downforce here. So, but no, it was good. It was a very good season. And after many years of racing, I know it's not an overall championship win, but I finally got one.
Mate, it's a championship nonetheless. It doesn't matter what name it goes by. I think if I'm going to sit here on broadcast and claim my first MC Motorsport round win for last endurance round, then you can absolutely claim this as a championship, mate. It's honestly, it's been such a good drive to watch from you right throughout. And we were talking a little earlier about some of the efforts that we've seen from you throughout this season. In particular, that round with your defensive battle with Jamie Dyke, where with one less lap in that race, I reckon you would have had that race win, mate. It's been absolutely stellar to watch your driving just improve leaps and bounds round to round, and I have no doubt at all that you're going to really mix it up in the pro category next time around. Aside from Domains2U, of course, as the primary sponsor of both the series and the ADHD racing team, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
No, obviously Domains2U being the major sponsor there, but just want to shout out to Josh. I mean, he's been pushing me all season. Honestly, probably if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been where I was. So, no, shout out to him, man. He put in a stellar drive. He was actually quicker than me coming into tonight, so he put in the stint there. But no, shout out to Mitch as well. Mitch has done well. Unfortunately, couldn't finish the season off, but yeah, same to you guys too. And big thanks to Scott Stevens for doing all our liveries up for us. No, he's doing well, but no, it was good. Finally got one, but yeah, no, big ups to Josh. You know, we got a 1-2 there for ADHD and M Cup, so it's definitely good. No, top racing there. A bit unfortunate in the first race tonight, but you know, yeah, I somehow made it through that cluster of whatever happened in front of me and came out P3 and kind of just stuck to some laps and knew I just had to finish. So that's all I kind of did, and I ended up equal fifth with Aaron Gilbert, I'm pretty sure, in the overall championship. So no, it was good. But yeah, big season and another one ahead with GT3. So no,
plenty of racing to come. Ryan Palmer, congratulations once again cracking round. Good to have you along as always, and no doubt we'll be talking to you again soon.
Yeah, cheers, boys. Thanks, mate.
Ryan Palmer taking the AM Cup win. I think time for none other than the man of the hour, the week, the month, the season, Brett Loxton, Team Jinx Shifters. I am almost completely lost for words after this being the performance you put on in the final race. I don't even know where to start with just how impressive that's been, but it really does cap off the entire way that your season has run. Massive congratulations from us here at the broadcast, and of course from everyone at MC Motorsport, taking out the Domains2U MCV8 championship for the season with one of the best recovery drives I think I've ever seen. Welcome back to the booth, mate.
Cheers. I honestly didn't think I was going to have a lot of pace this race, to be honest.
I think a lot of pace doesn't even do it justice. Let's just recap here. Turn 1 of race 2, and look, you're going to watch the broadcast back, and you'll see us go over and over this because I still can't wrap my head around it. To basically dead last with one of the most severely damaged Gen 3 supercars I've ever seen. I don't know if anyone's told you what it looked like on screen, nope. But you absolutely need to go and have a look at just what you managed to limp around the track back to the pits. And then, granted, a fast repair is a massive help here in sim racing compared to the real world, but to come back out on track and not only get underway again, but to actually fight back and take the win at the end is nothing short of superhuman, mate. That is absolutely next level driving, and I don't understand how someone pulls that off. You say that you didn't expect to have any pace tonight. What's the disconnect between your view of the world and what everyone else is seeing out on track, mate?
Well, I've just never been particularly strong at Road Atlanta, and then obviously I've raced another league here and I was not good at all. I was down near the back. So I did some work on the setup, but I was unsure if I actually fixed it or not. Obviously I've fixed it somewhat, because it's definitely a lot faster than what I've had before.
Yeah,
but to say I won's a bit of a stretch too, because I got a penalty coming my way, which will drop me back a couple of spots, but...
Look, even if that is the case, I think the finishing position is pretty impressive. As we take a look at the point standing, I actually don't. I'm going to have to go back in the records and check this out, but I don't know that we've seen someone crack 2,000 points in a season before. And based on tonight, you're probably the first one, I suspect, who's done that. I'm going to have to go and check Jeremy Washington's GT3 record from last season, but mate, an absolutely
bring JW into it.
Ooh. Yeah, we're a bit of a throwback now, of course, to that season, but that is a pretty next level set of results for you, Brett. We've already spoken, of course, to Thomas, but from your perspective, anyone in particular that you want to give a shout out to on behalf of Team Jinx in terms of the support you've had across the season to get this result?
Yeah, well, obviously Jinx and then all the guys at our team, like, for putting up with my shenanigans throughout the week when I'm not happy with stuff. And then obviously everyone who raced, because like without anyone else on track, like there's nothing else really, like you're just doing laps. So without the racing, it wouldn't have been as fun as it has been. And obviously you guys putting on the broadcast, like it's been fun watching those after as well, seeing what goes on throughout the race elsewhere apart from my perspective.
Well, look, I thoroughly encourage you to jump straight to race number 2 and take a look at the state of your car, mate, and I think it will give you some real perspective on what we've just witnessed tonight. A huge congratulations to you, Brett. It's been just a massive season for Team Jinx and for yourself. An absolute pleasure to cover each and every week, and I can't say it again. I can't say it too often, I don't think. Really, really well-earned finish to your season. And a well-deserved trophy, I imagine, coming your way very, very soon, courtesy of MC Motorsport.
Yeah, thanks. I actually
Come on,
forgot
Brett.
about the trophy.
You gotta sing "We Are the Champs."
You know what?
No,
Let's,
there's no singing from me.
we'll give him a solid golf clap, because that's about all I've got on my Discord soundboard. Brett, we'll let you get back to the team and unwind in whatever way you feel is appropriate. But a stellar season, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch, and I know everyone at home has enjoyed it as well.
Cheers, thanks, guys.
Brett Loxton taking the win to finish out round 8. We'll take a bit of a look through the standings, and if this all stands, obviously there's always the usual post-race shenanigans in terms of penalties to figure out some extra points for fastest lap, which tend to go Brett Loxton's way as well, let's be honest. But this looks more or less how it's going to finish up. We do currently have a tie for P5, Ryan Palmer and Aaron Gilbert, 1,777 points each.
Who just we get to?
I don't know whether that's going to adjust or not, but that's pretty unusual after that many rounds of racing. But Will Buchanan pretty comfortably into P2. Thomas Hinz should finish in P3 for the championship pretty comfortably. Thomas Wilson, again, a great showing from him. Unfortunately, missing out on the podium here. Kyle Ridley in amongst it all season, as was James Selhani. Josh Harris, another great showing in the AM Cup, into the top 10, and he'll be up into the Pro Cup next season for the V8s as well. Henry King, just on the borderline of P10. Robbie Bradbury and Jared Burns actually jumping up a little, courtesy, probably in a fair way, of the Luke Specs incident this evening. Jackson Starrett goes up a position as well. Jamie Dyke, unfortunately, not able to make it tonight, so down a few more spots. But look, a great result all around, and a fantastic season. I think the best way to finish it off, we'll go now to Mr. Josh Harris on behalf of MC Motorsport, just to wrap up the season for us. Josh, welcome to the booth in a guest capacity for the first time in a little while, mate.
Yeah, it's good to be here. Hello, gents. How are you?
Doing very well, my friend. So talk to us. What's your view of the season? That the way that you expected it to finish here tonight?
Yeah, no, I think that was good fun. A hell of a track to finish with. That's a really tough place to race, but a lot of fun. And you know, the fact that Brett Loxton gets taken out on the first corner of the feature and still comes back and absolutely makes us look silly is probably very fitting for the season, to be honest, Jared. Everyone got a chance to look at that bloke's car, and he went off up the front and still. So. The main championship, and of course Ryan Palmer taking out the M Cup. So it was a lot of fun this season. The racing was fantastic. We can't wait to do it again. We'd love for as many people to come along to the Discord as they want. We're not doing Supercars now until the new year again, but certainly for those of you who are out at home watching, thinking to yourself, gee, that looks like a bit of fun, I want to get in on it, jump in the Discord and come along. We are really, really excited though, Jared. GT3 in just a couple of weeks' time, which is going to be unreal.
So let's talk about that. We've got the season calendar up on
Interlagos.
screen. It's
Josh,
like opening it into
first round.
Yeah, that's a hell of a way to bring it on.
It is.
The circuits on the list here are almost without fail some of the best circuits you'll find on iRacing, I reckon. Anything particular you're looking forward to? And let's start off with ADHD, just to set aside the overall MC view of this. But what are you in store for us in terms of liveries and car choice for ADHD for the GT3s? Can I ask that yet?
Yeah, you can. The livery will be pink and blue and white. So we think we're on a winner there. We think the car looked fantastic this year. Scott Stevens from iRap Designs, he does all of our liveries, and he absolutely knocked this season out of the park, right? So that's probably a look that you're going to see on plenty of ADHD cars from now. What car are we going? Probably not ready to release that just yet. What I will tell you is that we got some info today that means that we've got to go back and do some testing. We thought we might have had an idea. Not so sure, so... that one is still to be decided. But if we think about the whole league, what have we got coming up? As he said, like just some genuinely fantastic tracks, some of the best tracks on iRacing. We're still a pretty new league, Jared and Biggles, so we're constantly evolving. So we're taking our format across the GT3. So some weeks are sprint races, some weeks have got the longer feature like tonight, a couple of enduros. Some really cool tracks. We're going to change up the time of day. We're going to try and make it feel a bit more like a real life race meeting. Real life weather from the location, all that sort of stuff. MC Motorsport is a little bit different to other leagues, but I think that we have a lot of fun here. Lots and lots of people floating around at the moment that are keen to get into GT3. A couple of ridiculously fast guys, a couple of not so fast guys, and then a couple of real slow guys such as myself. So if you're out there and you're thinking about joining the league, GT3 is a great place to do it. There's people of all speed, so you don't have to worry about coming and making a fool of yourself. We are super inclusive. We're just here to have a good time. It's going to be really good racing on some of the coolest tracks, around it. It's going to be very exciting. Monday, the 22nd of September, it kicks off, so it's going to be unreal.
And as always, if you do want to get in on it and you're not sure how to, just take a look down below in the YouTube description. We've got a link there to get into the Discord. That's where it all gets organised. So get along. Even if you're not going to race, come along. Come say hello. We're all reasonably friendly people. I try to be, at least. And it's a good place to hang out, even if you're not involved in the racing. Josh, from an MC Motorsport perspective, anything else that you want to give us a bit of a heads up on or share with the audience at home before we call it a night here on the V8 series?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important thing, and something that we need to acknowledge at the end of every season, is that this league is built on the people who race. It has been a fantastic season of racing, and we can't thank all of our drivers enough for coming along, hanging out with us every week, putting on really good racing. It doesn't matter whether you're watching at home or here racing, it's always a ball. And this league just wouldn't be what it is without the people out on track, hanging out in the Discord, all that sort of stuff. So I'm actually going to, give the sponsors a miss. We've got some great sponsors. They do a fantastic job. They help us out. But this league is all about the drivers, and it's been unreal. So thank you so much, guys, who watched this stream back. This league is only what you make it. We can't wait to see you next season, and we hope that we have delivered a really fun racing product and that you're all keen to come back.
Josh, as always, a pleasure to chat to you, mate. I will be in the booth with you, of course, tomorrow night as we continue coverage of V8 goodness. But until then, a well-deserved rest for you this evening, my friend. We'll chat again soon, and a massive thank you from us here at Simple to everyone in the MC team.
Thank you, mate. You have a wonderful night, and once again, thank you to you guys for everything that you do covering our racing. It means a lot.
Josh Harris there on behalf of MC Motorsport. We'll let him get back into it and probably go and celebrate the AM Cup win with Ryan Palm for ADHD. And with that, though, Season 2 of the MCV8 series comes to a close. We've had 8 amazing, thrilling rounds from Mugello right through to Road Atlanta tonight. Some of the best drivers in iRacing's Gen 3 supercars have battled it out here on the MC Motorsport season across a few different formats of racing. We've seen some strategy masterclasses. We've seen some incredible wheel-to-wheel fights and some moments that I think will have to go down in MC Motorsport history, not least of which was Brett Loxton's drive tonight. I will jump in. Josh has made a brilliant point of this league being really all about the drivers and what they make of it. The season, though, of course, won't have been possible without the incredible support of the sponsors. So a massive thank you to Domains2U.com.au for pairing the series and keeping us all connected online. To iRap Designs, to Sixpence Coffee, to Everything Simulated, and of course to Maximum Effort Racing. Your support is what helps this grassroots sim racing scene thrive. It's always a pleasure to see your names up on our broadcasts in recognition of the support you give to us here in the MC Motorsport League each and every season. To you, Biggles, a massive thank you for once again joining me in the booth across the season, mate. It is always a pleasure to be here covering the racing action with you, and I look forward to doing plenty more of that in the weeks, months, and years to come, my friend.
I cannot mirror any more what you just said. Obviously, what everybody had said here this evening has been absolutely brilliant performance from everybody. And once again, you and I have a lot of experience of racing leagues. This is a fantastic racing league. And if you're not clicking those buttons behind, we had in the chat, didn't we, earlier? How can I join? How can I be a part of this? It's all there in the description. And please do get into the action right now. And not just the V8 supercars, the GT3s. Many motorsports. It is the motorsports, of course, of MC Motorsports, powered by Mitch Curry and the likes of everybody else that you've seen in the crew there. So as you mentioned there, we've gone through a grueling 8 rounds of the V8 supercars, but of course we have more rounds to go, Jared. And once again, hats off to you, my friend. Always a pleasure to share the booth with you.
Absolutely. From everyone here at Simple Racing Broadcast and on behalf of MC Motorsport, a massive thank you to the drivers, to the teams, to all of you at home especially, and to those who have joined our broadcast at various times throughout Season 2. It's been a blast. We look forward to bringing you more racing action over the next couple of weeks as we wrap up a couple of other leagues over the Tuesday and Thursday night coverage. But from an MC Motorsport perspective, until next season, it's goodbye for now.